It's time for Wolverine football, presented by State Senator Jay Costa on the Woodland Hills Football Network. Wolverine football is also brought to you by the Triangle Bar and Grill, LGAR Health and Rehabilitation Center, Patrick T. Lanigan Funeral Home, Bush Brothers Car Care, The Barbers Inn in Swissvale, A-Boss Opticians, Turtle Creek Valley Rotary Club, Web Landings, and LG3 Entertainment. Now it's time for the Woodland Hills Football Network pregame show.
A pleasant good evening and welcome to the Wolverine, the Turtle Creek home of your Woodland Hills Wolverines. And tonight it's home to a WPIAL 5A Allegheny 9 conference matchup between the host Woodland Hills Wolverines and the visiting Moon Tigers. Woodland Hills 4-3 on the season, 4-1 in Allegheny 9 conference play. Meanwhile, the Moon Tigers are 3-4 on the year, 2-3 within the Allegheny 9 conference. A season ago, Woodland Hills met the Moon Tigers at Moon Stadium and was an instant classic, a 31-27 victory for the Wolverines on a last-second TD pass from Daniel Jones to Avram Abramovitz. And again, Woodland Hills won that game 31-27 at Moon Stadium last year. Woodland Hills comes off of a 17-9 victory against North Hills last week. Meanwhile, the Moon Tigers come off of a 36-6 loss at Chartiers Valley. We're going to take a 2-minute timeout, and when we return, we're going to bring in my broadcast partner, Bob Orquist. We'll also hear from Rick McIntyre down on the field as the pregame show rolls on right here on the Woodland Hills Football Network.
State Senator Jay Costa is proud to represent Pennsylvania's 43rd District since 1996 and is happy to support the Woodland Hills football team. If you have an issue concerning state government, contact one of Senator Costa's 3 local offices. Senator Costa's offices offer a variety of services for constituents. You can reach Senator Costa's Forest Hills office at 412-241-6690 or log on to senatorcosta.com. The Triangle Bar and Grill in Swissvale is a proud sponsor of the Wolverines and has been serving the Woodland Hills community for nearly 70 years. The Triangle, located on Monongahela Avenue, is the home of the Battleship, the sandwich that made Swissvale famous. Plus, the Triangle has a full menu of specialty sandwiches you're gonna love. Call the Triangle at 412-271-9885 to place your order now.
Life has its ups and downs. There are times when you or a loved one needs help. That's why you should know the name LGAR, Health and Rehabilitation Center. Located just minutes from the Monroeville Mall, the LGAR Health and Rehabilitation Center has been known by locals for many years, and they excel in reputation, rehabilitation, recuperation, and residential living. The help and answers you need are just a phone call away at 412-825-9000. Also on the web at lgar.org. LGAR Health and Rehabilitation Center, a name you should know and a name you can trust.
You're tuned in to Wolverine Football, presented by State Senator Jay Costa on the Woodland Hills Football Network.
Tigers in a WPIAL 5A Allegheny 9 conference matchup. Bring in Bob Orquist, and Bob, Woodland Hills comes into this game on a roll after winning a couple of road games at Chartiers Valley and Hampton, and then the home game last week, the big win against the North Hills Indians.
3-game winning streak for the Woodland Hills Wolverines, and they got the big monkey off their back as far as getting a win here in George A. Novak Field. And the path is clear for Woodland Hills. A win tonight is step one. They would qualify for the playoffs. For I believe it's the 29th year, maybe the 30th. I'll check that note in a second. But the path is also clear to a conference championship or slice of the conference championship with games remaining on the road against West Allegheny and Upper St. Clair. So you're in control of your own destiny, which the Wolverines would want to have. So that's what you want to do. You don't want to overlook the Moon Tigers tonight, but I think the fact that you have a chance to qualify for the playoffs is a very good thing in the final home game of the season for the Wolverines.
Let's send it down to the field where Rick McIntyre is going to join us. First of all, Rick, tell us what the vibe's like down there on the artificial surface here at George A. Novak Field. And number two, Rick, talk about your impressions going into this football game.
The vibe down here, I'm going to try to back away from the band a little bit so it doesn't quite interfere so much. The vibe, I think I can best sum it up, is as the seniors were coming out, I walked up to a few coaches, Aaron Beatty in particular. I said, hey, when we're in, and he said, shh, we don't want the kids to know that. They're preaching to these kids at every game right now is win or die, and they have not stressed anything to them about, as far as they know, the kids on this team don't even know that if they win tonight, they're in the playoffs. They're fighting every play, and like I said, it's win or die as far as they're concerned with the coaching staff.
Thanks a lot, Rick, and we'll check in with you a little bit later as we continue our coverage of the Woodland Hills Wolverines and the Moon Tigers. We're going to take another quick 2-minute break, and when we return, we'll get you set for kickoff. You're tuned into the Wolverines and the Tigers on the Trib Live High School Sports Network and the Woodland Hills Football Network, presented by State Senator Jay Costa.
Patrick T. Lanigan Funeral Home, with locations in East Pittsburgh and Turtle Creek, is a member of the Hall of Excellence of the National Funeral Directors Association. This reflects the same pursuit of excellence by our Woodland Hills football team, cheerleaders, marching band, students, staff, and faculty. For over 110 years, Patrick T. Lanigan Funeral Home has been honored to serve local families and to be a proud partner of the Woodland Hills communities. Bush Brothers Car Care Center in Swissvale has been a Monongahela Avenue institution for nearly 30 years. Bush Brothers is a full-service mechanic and tire shop for all types of vehicles. Whether you need mechanical work, alignment, state inspection, emissions testing, new tires, or just an oil change, Bush Brothers is the place for you. Bush Brothers Car Care Center, Monongahela Avenue in Swissvale, or give Martin and Jason a call at 412-351-5342. Today's broadcast of Woodland Hills football is brought to you by the Turtle Creek Valley Rotary Club. Since 1905, Rotary clubs across the globe have brought business and professional leaders together to provide humanitarian services, encourage high ethical standards in all vocations, and to advance goodwill and peace around the world. The Turtle Creek Valley Rotary Club meets every Friday at noon at Shelley Pie. Rotary, service above self.
The Woodland Hills Wolverines and the Moon Tigers. Adam Gusky, Bob Orquist, Rick McIntyre on the call as we're underway in Turtle Creek, PA. Chucky Hanchet's kick will be returned from the 10-yard line. On the return is Luke Piccolo for the Tigers. He'll bring it out across the 20, out across the 25 to the 26-yard line, and that's where the Tigers will set up shop. And Bobby O, early in the pregame show, I talked about last year's matchup between these two teams. It was an instant classic. Woodland Hills overcame two double-digit deficits in that come-from-behind victory. And like I said, the game was capped off on the touchdown pass from Daniel Jones to now graduated Avram Abramovitz.
17-7 deficit, a 27-17 deficit as well for Woodland Hills. Daniel Jones may remember that. You're hoping, if you're a Wolverines backer or a Wolverine, it doesn't come down to that this evening here at the Wolverina.
Tigers go to the air on the first play from scrimmage, a pass to the right-hand side, and that is completed for a big first down for the Tigers as they get things started early. Tackle made by Jeremy Turner as he brings down Jake Dunning, or rather Sean Brennan, I believe, is the receiver for the Tigers. So that'll bring up first down and 10 for Moon with the football at the 47-yard line. And they're going to run the option, and the quarterback, Konechka, straight up the gut as he pulled the ball out of the belly of the tailback. He'll pick up a couple of yards to the 49, and that'll bring up second down and 8.
Konechka, one of the dual-threat quarterbacks. Almost every team has one of those now. He's over 1,000 yards throwing on the season, 9 touchdowns, but 9 interceptions, so the ratio there not very good. He's the second leading rusher on the year for the Moon Tigers, Cole Konechka, with 118 yards and 3 rushing touchdowns.
Konechka in the shotgun, sidecar to his left, twins to either side, low snap. Konechka setting up the screen. It's complete to the near side. Not a lot of room for the tailback, Brady Sunday, and the ball came loose, and the Wolverines scooped it up. The ball loose again, and it'll be covered up by a Wolverine, and it's 1st and 10 for Woody High. The original scoop up was by Michael Roman. The second scoop was by Tyrell Barlow, and it's Woodland Hills football, 1st and 10 at the Moon 32-yard line as the ball was knocked free from Brady Sunday on the screen pass.
So turnover is very important. It was Caleb Brevard who just kind of ripped it out. Actually, Roman just ripped it out and kept it. And then you mentioned he was coming down the near side. He kind of dropped the football. Really should have been down there, but they give Barlow an extra 4 yards, and Woodland Hills takes advantage of a turnover, and they start this drive at the Moon 32.
One receiver to either side, tight end left, wing back Krabs from right to left. Handoff's going to go to Jaquan Smith, and he's got nowhere to go as there were 2 white jerseys in the backfield to make the stop for the Moon Tigers.
Well, Jaquan Smith, one of the seniors on her tonight, lone man in the backfield. Again, Smith, Denard, Meredith have all done a great job for the Woodland Hills Wolverines, but that's just a great read. It was Brady Sunday who fumbled or had that ball stripped on the offensive possession. He drops Jaquan Smith for a loss of 4.
Eye backfield and movement before the snap. We'll check in with our referee, Mike Burrell, to see what this infraction is against the Moon Tigers, or against the Wolverines perhaps.
Motion against Black, 5-yard penalty, still 2nd down.
Not the start you want for either team. 3 plays for Moon. They have a turnover as Brady Sunday fumbles the football, and the Wolverines on 1st down go -4, and then before the next snap, they go on a motion penalty. So they're -9, 2nd and 19, excuse me.
2 receivers left, straight drop back. Jones looking left, throwing left, pass complete to Michael Whitehurst. He'll step out of bounds at the 35-yard line, and that'll bring up 3rd down and a more manageable about 13, maybe 14, instead of the 2nd and 19 a play before.
Just a simple down and out, little button hook to the far sideline to Whitehurst. He had ideas of turning it up the field, but when he did, he turned near that far boundary and stepped on the end line. But takes 5 off of that, and you also get Daniel Jones, his first completion of the evening.
Receivers split to either side. Tight end to the right of the formation. High backfield behind Jones. Straight drop back for Jones. Looks left, looks back to the near right-hand side, and the pass intended for Whitehurst is incomplete. Panucci on the coverage for the Moon Tigers, and that'll bring up 4th down and 13.
Good defense by Panucci, the senior at 5'9", 155. Stayed right on Whitehurst. Also a senior at 6'1", 164 on the near sideline. This is a situation where a little too far for a field goal. Thought that Woodland Hills might keep the offense out there. Whitehurst goes back to punt. Keep in mind last week against North Hills, Adam, a big 29-yard run from punt formation for Whitehurst.
Woodland Hills will stretch 3 receivers to the near side right, and that is going to bring a timeout.
We have timeout. White, first time out of the half.
9 players on the field for Moon.
Wow, certainly the punt return team not ready for the Tigers. We'll take this opportunity to take a breather ourselves. You're tuned in to the Wolverines and the Moon Tigers on the Trib Live High School Sports Network and the Woodland Hills Football Network, presented by State Senator Jay Costa.
State Senator Jay Costa is proud to represent Pennsylvania's 43rd District since 1996 and is happy to support the Woodland Hills football team. If you have an issue concerning state government, contact one of Senator Costa's 3 local offices. Senator Costa's offices offer a variety of services for constituents. You can reach Senator Costa's Forest Hills office at 412-241-6690 or log on to senatorcosta.com.
You're tuned in to Wolverine Football, presented by State Senator Jay Costa on the Woodland Hills Football Network.
Very quick timeout as the Tigers sent the punt return team on the field, and the Woodland Hills punt team came out onto the field, and Michael Whitehurst with a beautiful coffin corner punt, arguably the best punt I have ever seen here at the Wolverina, as Whitehurst's punt rolls out of bounds inside of the 1-yard line.
What a bounce. First of all, unique formation. Usually you have gunners on either side. Woodland Hills came out, and I'm sure Moon is well aware that Whitehurst is a backup quarterback, with 3 gunners to the near side, 3 wide receivers, if you will. That's the way Whitehurst kicked it. Watch this ball take a right turn. Whoop, perfectly done. You don't see that anymore almost at any level. Half-yard line. Great job by Whitehurst.
And some movement by the Moon Tigers right along the line of scrimmage. We'll check in with our referee.
Brendan Luffy moved. That's a 6-inch
We have
penalty.
dead ball foul, motion on white, half the distance, still first down.
We'll give it 18 inches. The ball is officially at the 1.
All right, well, now it is right at that goal line. So precariously close to a safety are the Moon Tigers. No handoff on the first play from scrimmage, and some room for that tailback, Brady Sunday, who fumbled the ball not long ago. And a tackle made by Jaden Lucas. And some breathing room for the Tigers as they pick up about 5 on that first down play.
It's basically all you want. You said it, precariously perched. You have to be almost perfect on the center quarterback exchange, then the quarterback running back exchange. Brady Sunday did a good job to come off of left tackle before Lucas brought him down. The ball came out afterwards, no fumble. They do get a little bit of breathing room.
Handoff again to Sunday. He'll bounce around off of some Wolverines, driving his way forward, but he won't get very far, maybe out to the 9-yard line for a gain of about 3. Down at the bottom of the pile is Tyrell Barlow, who contributed to the fumble recovery on the Tigers' first drive. Again, Moon started the football game with the ball, starting at their own 26-yard line. First play from scrimmage was great. Then things got a little hairy for the Moon Tigers as a screen pass to Brady Sunday was ripped away from Sunday by Michael Roman. He returned it a while. Then it came out of his hands, and it was recovered by Tyrell Barlow, and Woodland Hills set up at the Moon 32, but couldn't do anything with it. And that's how the ball got to the Tigers. And the ball was loose on the turf. It squirted free. The Wolverines thought they had it. It squirted free again. And scooping the ball up and running to the near sideline was a heady Brady Sunday to scoop up the football, and he ran to the near side, and a tackle made down near the 2 or 3 yard line, and that'll bring up 4th and long for the Tigers, about 4th down and 8 from the 3 yard line, and the punt unit is on. Good snap, which is always key, and a great punt as well. The problem is it may hop towards a Wolverine. Instead, it'll take a bounce in favor of Woodland Hills, giving the Wolverines the ball at the Moon Tigers 25-yard line. Let's sound it down to the sidelines. Rick, at first we saw Woodland Hills have some momentum with the takeaway, and then Woodland Hills a little dejected having to punt, but they're set up shop again, this time in even better field position.
Yeah, I definitely like the work of the field position right now. The excellent punt by Whitehurst, I think, set him up for this, getting the ball on the 25-yard line, first and 10.
Jones will step under center, 2 receivers right. Tailback Jaquan Smith bouncing it to the left-hand side, slides through a tackle, drives his way forward, picks up the first down, and Morsey spun down and out of bounds right around the 13-yard line. 1st and 10 for Woodland Hills, and they're inside of the Tigers' red zone.
Nice job by the senior Jaquan Smith. He's gone both series so far in the early going as the lone man in the backfield. He's the 2nd leading rusher on the season for Woodland Hills. 317 yards coming into tonight's game, 4.8. And 6 touchdown rushes for Jaquan Smith. And the first down of the night for Woodland Hills.
1 back set, tight ends to either side, receivers to either side. Handoff, Smith trying to run right. Turns the corner, drives his way to the 10-yard line, gets a little help from his friends, but he won't get much farther than the 10 as he's shoved back by Jake Dunning, amongst others. A pickup of about 3 brings up 2nd down and 7.
Dunning and Kyle Kumankowski for the Moon Tigers. Smith on the first run went left. This time it was a kind of student body and sweep edge play to the near side to the right. Moon read it. Also in on the tackle for the Tigers was Christian Tanner.
So 2nd and 7 for Woody High with the football at the 10-yard line. Ball on the right hash. Woodland Hills will split 2 receivers to the far boundary left. Tight ends to either side. 1 back set behind Daniel Jones. It's Jaquan Smith, the tailback. Smith takes the handoff on the delay. He'll bounce it to the right. He'll turn the corner into the end zone for a 10-yard touchdown run without a white jersey nearby. And Woodland Hills takes the early lead 6-0.
Well, there was a delay, and the delay was Smith just finding the hole. But once he deciphered that he was able to get around the right edge, no delay. Good block on the seal on the near side, and the rest was Jaquan Smith's speed. There was another good block near the 5-yard line. 7th touchdown rushing of the season for Jaquan Smith, and a early well, not really that early, but an early 7-0 lead for the Wolverines, taking advantage of their second possession inside Moon territory.
Chucky Hanchett point after touchdown up and in, and with 6:36 to play in quarter number one, it's Woodland Hills 7 and the Moon Tigers 0. You're tuned in to the Wolverines and the Tigers on the Trib Live High School Sports Network and the Woodland Hills Football Network, presented by State Senator Jay Costa.
The Triangle Bar and Grill in Swissvale is a proud sponsor of the Wolverines and has been serving the Woodland Hills community for nearly 70 years. The Triangle, located on Monongahela Avenue, is the home of the Battleship, the sandwich that made Swissvale famous. Plus, the Triangle has a full menu of specialty sandwiches you're gonna love. Call the Triangle at 412-271-9885 to place your order now.
You're tuned in to Wolverine Football, presented by State Senator Jay Costa on the Woodland Hills Football Network.
Back at the Wolverina, where Woodland Hills leads the Moon Tigers 7-0 on a 10-yard touchdown run for number 10, Jaquan Smith. 7th touchdown of the season, as Bobby O said before the break, and just one white jersey nearby, and there was a lot of room over that right-hand side for Smith. Hanchett's kickoff will carry down to the 5-yard line and bounce out of bounds. It was nearly touched by a Moon Tiger over there on that far boundary, but a good job ultimately by Luke Piccolo to avoid touching the football. And Moon has the option here to force Woodland Hills to re-kick, or will they take it at the 35? Looks like they're going to take it at the 35, as we'll hear from a referee, Mike Burrow.
Dead ball, kick out of bounds against the block. We'll take it at the 35-yard line.
Send it back down to the sideline. Rick McIntyre, get a quick update from you. A great second offensive drive for the Wolverines.
Yeah, nice call there with the counter going to the right side. It looks like that Moon defense is kind of trying to collapse the outside and contain them from getting east to west. Ran a nice counter play and just blew the hole up.
Life
really nice
has its ups and downs. There are times when you or a loved one needs help. That's why you should know the name LGAR, Health and Rehabilitation Center. Located just minutes from the Monroeville Mall, the LGAR Health and Rehabilitation Center has been known by locals for many years, and they excel in reputation, rehabilitation, recuperation, and residential living. The help and answers you need are just a phone call away at 412-825-9000. Also on the web at lgar.org. LGAR Health and Rehabilitation Center, a name you should know and a name you can trust.
Most of the games, maybe the Fox Chapel game was a bad one. You look at the Penn Trafford numbers, but the Penn Trafford numbers were skewed by a couple of big runs, one by John Gay and one by another one of their runners. So, all in all, good run defense all year by the Wolverines.
Straight drop back this time for Konechka, looking to the right-hand side. The pass is incomplete, as the pass intended for Jake Dunning hits the turf, and that'll bring up 3rd down and 11.
Jaden Lucas on the coverage for Woodland Hills. Lucas back from the free safety spot. Little low snap, keep that in mind. We've already seen Moon on their last possession trouble with a snap and almost a fumble, and a good job on the pass defense by Lucas. Jaden Lucas, the junior at 6'1", 181.
So 3rd and 11 for the Tigers. The ball at their own 34-yard line. 5:52 to go. Clock stopped here in the first quarter. Trips to the right of the formation. They'll set up the little bubble screen, and the pass is complete to Anthony Panucci. He has nowhere to go, as a couple of black jerseys meet him very, very quickly. Tackle made by Eric Oliver. Also in on the stop, Joshua Rawlings. So a couple of nice plays by Joshua Rawlings. The big pull from his left tight end spot to spring Jaquan Smith for the touchdown. He makes the big stop there on 3rd and long.
He kind of turned it inside, and then Eric Oliver and Jaden Lucas were able to knock down Panucci. Panucci's the leading receiver on the season, but Woodland Hills sniffed that out. That's all you got to do. You blow the timing up, which Rawlings did, and his teammates came.
Woodland Hills may have encroached the neutral zone on this punt by the Tigers, and as they boot it away, it takes a bounce in favor of Woodland Hills, ultimately down at the 45-yard line. But we're going to have to check in with Mike Burrell to see if this is against Woodland Hills. I think the Wolverines may have been in that neutral zone a hair early, but we'll have to see what the call is. May have been a formational penalty. Now the official's going to have a bit of a meeting here, as I think they want to talk with head coach Tim Bostard, who right now is a bit busy trying to get his offense ready, and he says decline the penalty.
We have illegal formation, 5 men in the backfield against Dwight. It's decline. First down, black.
So again, Woodland Hills will set up at the Moon 45, and when you say this is their worst starting field position of the game, it feels strange, but it's the first time Woodland Hills takes the ball inside of their own territory.
Yeah, if you're saying that, you're doing pretty good. First two possessions started inside Tiger territory. This one just 5 yards away from midfield.
And whistles before the snap. And flags came from
late
both
flag.
the
The whistle.
umpire.
Sorry, Adam. The whistle came way before the flag. That was kind of strange. I think it's a Woodland Hills.
We got dead ball, delay game, black, 5-yard penalty, still first down.
Certainly didn't seem like there was 25 seconds.
Must have started that way early.
Yeah.
Really surprising. To me, it looked like the ball was set, and the whistle went 5 seconds later.
So anyhow, they'll set up in the shotgun for the first time today. Will the Wolverines? It's going to be a Wildcat formation. Nazir Taylor, the quarterback, running to the right, cutting back to the left. He'll be undercut. No, he's going to keep his feet. 30 to the 25 to the 20 to the 15 to the 10. Inside the 5 and across the goal line for a Woodland Hills touchdown. The Wolverines go Wildcat, and they take it to the house. 60 yards for the touchdown.
Well, that is a nice nuance right there. We all know how good Nazir Taylor is, a big play man. He had a rushing touchdown earlier in the year. He just took the direct snap, came to the right. You said he was undercut, and he was as he got into Moon territory by Jake Dunning, but he stayed on his feet. Cut it back to the far side of the field, a big-time touchdown run of Nazir Taylor. He can just make plays all over the field in all facets of the game. And it's back-to-back touchdowns for Woodland Hills.
Yeah, Taylor put that left hand down to keep his balance, was able to spring free. A nice job by Whitehurst. He bobbled the snap, but got it down in time for Chucky Hanchett to split the uprights. And Woodland Hills leads the Moon Tigers 14-0 with 4:49 to play here in quarter number 1. We'll step away. You're tuned in to the Wolverines and the Tigers on the Trib Live High School Sports Network and the Woodland Hills Football Network, presented by State Senator Jay Costa.
Life has its ups and downs. There are times when you or a loved one needs help. That's why you should know the name LGAR, Health and Rehabilitation Center. Located just minutes from the Monroeville Mall, the LGAR Health and Rehabilitation Center has been known by locals for many years, and they excel in reputation, rehabilitation, recuperation, and residential living. The help and answers you need are just a phone call away at 412-825-9000. Also on the web at lgar.org. LGAR Health and Rehabilitation Center, a name you should know and a name you can trust.
You're tuned in to Wolverine Football, presented by State Senator Jay Costa on the Woodland Hills Football Network.
Back at the Wolverina, Woodland Hills leading the Moon Tigers 14-0. 60-yard touchdown run by Nazir Taylor, as he set in the quarterback position in the Wildcat, and he took it to the house. Chucky Hanchett's kick returned from the 13-yard line. Return man is Anthony Panucci for the Moon Tigers. Ball came loose again. Fumble number 3 on the day for the Moon Tigers, and the second takeaway by Woodland Hills. As the Wolverines jump on the football, it was Marcus Taylor with the takeaway. Now the officials are going to have a conference. Are they going to say the Tiger return man was down? They will. It'll be Moon ball at the 32-yard line. So the Woodland Hills defense will come out instead of the offense. But either way, Woodland Hills just stripping balls away, and from our vantage point, it certainly looked like Tavian Brooks knocked that football away from the return man, Anthony Panucci.
Panucci's knee did go down, but the ball was kind of loose. We're going to get another look at that replay. I wanted to see the replay. It was coming out as Panucci was going down.
Yeah, that ball's out before the knee down.
Before the knee is down.
Wow.
Absolutely. Good job by our crew. Should have been the second turnover of the game.
Instead, Moon will have the ball 1st and 10 at their own 32 with 4:41 to play. Quarter number 1, Woodland Hills up 14-0. Shotgun, and they're going to run a bit of the Wildcat themselves as Zach Jedlocki, the ball carrier, springs free, drives his way across the 40, out towards the 46, make it the 47-yard line where it's 1st and 10 for the Moon Tigers.
Kind of like the Wildcat, Zach Jedlocki, the sophomore. Running back, defensive back, and just this direct snap. Made a good decision. He came to the right as he faked opposite side and then found a big hole and a nice cutback. he'll stay in the Wildcat formation for the Moon Tigers under first-year head coach Ryan Lynn.
Receiver split to either side, wing to the left. Sidecar to the right-hand side of Jadlocki. He's going to run off of play action, running to his right-hand side. Had a crease for a moment, but that moment was very short as Christopher Jones ended the play after a gain of just 2.
Well, he had a crease, and then he was creased by Jones. That's a big-time hit by the junior linebacker. Came in from the opposite side of Jadlocki and just drilled him down with a textbook tackle after the pickup of 2.
Jadlocki again in the shotgun. Sidecar to the right, wing to the left. Receiver split to either side. Tight end to the left of the formation. This time they're going to hand off to Panucci. Running to the left. Stepping forward. He's close to the first down. He's got the first down inside of the Woodland Hills 45 to around the 42-yard line. Tackle ultimately made by Tyrell Barlow, coming all the way from his defensive line spot to make that stop.
You got to like that. Not the fact that he picked up 10, but the fact that Barlow hustles down the field. But a nice little jet sweep to the near side. Jadlocki in the Wildcat ran twice. This time he handed it off, and Panucci picks up first down number 3 in this first quarter for the Tigers.
And we got a new quarterback in there again. This time it's Jamal Littlejohn, the ball carrier. He'll drive his way forward inside of the 40 to the 39-yard line for a pickup of 3 yards. Littlejohn, 5'7", 170, the sophomore.
Well, this Wildcat formation has gone crazy in this conference. I guess we can thank Paul Palco for that. He'll put anyone in that quarterback. And Moon has done a good job on this drive with Jadlocki and now Littlejohn at the helm. Konechka sitting out this series.
Tight end and a wing to the right. As this time it's Littlejohn, the ball carrier again. He feigned the pitch, then pushed his way forward to around the 35-yard line. Looked like Woodland Hills had stifled the play right around the line of scrimmage, but a couple of yards still for Jamal Littlejohn.
He did a good job to get underneath the initial pressure that came in. It was Caleb Brevard, and then Oliver got a hold of him, and Barlow finished him off, but not before Littlejohn picked up 4, 3rd and 3 for the Tigers.
Receiver split to either side, wing right. Sidecar to the left as we have yet another quarterback, as this time it is Brady Sunday, and Brady Sunday is going to drive his way towards that first down flag. The officials spot him maybe a hair shy. It's going to be a 4th down and a short one, maybe about a half yard away from that first down flag. But as they set the ball, they'll actually push it back towards that 34-yard line, and it'll be 4th and a solid 1 now. So now Zach Jadlocki comes back out. We have seen 4 different quarterbacks, I believe, now for the Moon Tigers. Zach Jadlocki, the second of those 4 we've seen thus far. Wing left, sidecar right, flag comes in. It's going to be a delay of game against the Tigers because of where it came from.
We got dead ball foul, delay of game, white, 5-yard penalty, 4th down.
Is it me or you're an old O-lineman? Was that a little unbalanced formation by the Moon Tigers on the interior line, or just the way they were set up?
I think it was just the way they were set up, because they had the tight end to the right of the formation, and to the left-hand side they did have a guard and a tackle. So same kind of situation here where they have a tight end to the right, a wing to the right, and then 2 linemen to the left.
Their gaps are big, though.
Jadlocki throwing left, and the pass tipped at the line of scrimmage. Diving for it was Christopher Jones. The incomplete pass brings up a turnover on downs, and it's 1st and 10 for Woodland Hills as they'll take over at the 39.
So good job by the Woodland Hills defense to stiffen the penalty. Helps. Good deflection. Didn't see who the man, I believe it was Eric Oliver, the 6'3 senior. You would expect him from his defensive end position to be able to get up there. Looks like we're going Wildcat again with the Wolverines, and why not? Last time they went Wildcat, Nazir Taylor took it 60 to the house. That was Jones in? Yeah,
Jones is in, so he will step under center. The lone setback is Christopher Jones. Check that, it is Meredith as Daniel Jones looks to the left-hand side for Nazir Taylor. The incomplete pass will bring up 2nd and 10.
Right in front of our buddy Rick McIntyre over there. He could have reached out with that big paw and swatted that away from Nazir Taylor. Not that he would, but Taylor was actually getting the play. And Meredith is in there. Keep in mind, Rodney Denard was nicked up, shaken up, injured against North Hills last week in the victory here, 17-9. So we'll see if he gets any time at tailback for the Wolverines.
Delay handoff, running to left, Anthony Meredith. He'll drive his way across the 40, out towards the 43-yard line. Jamal Littlejohn makes the tackle for the Moon Tigers, and a Tiger is shaken up right near the 40-yard line, and the athletic training staff for Moon will come out and check on Kyle Kamenkowski. Let's send it back down to Rick McIntyre. Hey, Rick, Bobby O said the ball headed your way. You could have shown off those old tight end skills.
That was not the tight end skills that were possessed by me when I was in high school. I was basically an outside tackle. When I played here, when you played here, although you had McD, so they broke the rule that throwing was cheating. That's kind of how we played ball back in the day. But to Bob, you mentioned about Rodney Denard. I had a conversation with him earlier. He's standing there next to me. He's in the white jersey. He's healthy. He's in good spirits. Basically, he's taking a rest week.
Yeah, after that ankle injury a week ago, makes sense to rest him, especially with the two big conference games coming up on the road at Upper St. Clair and West Allegheny, but in reverse order. One back set, play action. Jones rolling to the right-hand side. Had some time, now he's pressured, stiff arms away, dumps it off to the near sideline, intended for Joshua Rawlings, but the pass is incomplete. And that'll bring up 4th down and 6, and the punt unit has to come on.
Dalton Dobbins got the secondary pressure, and Daniel Jones has done a good job all year using his size. That pass was intended to Josh Rawlings, but he's 6'2", 218, and he did a good job to Daniel Jones to just keep his balance and threw it high and tall, and you avoid the loss that way. And Whitehurst comes on second time in this first quarter to kick it away. Last time was that beautiful Coffin corner punt.
3 gunners split to the right. Whitehurst able to get away a beauty, a spiraling punt. It'll be caught at the 20-yard line by Luke Piccolo, and Luke Piccolo drives his way across the 25. The ball came loose again. The Wolverines covered it up, but the officials say that Luke Piccolo was down at that 27-yard line.
It's Friday the 13th in October, and there was a Coffin corner kick, and I'm slow to the party. Let's see if he was down this time. This time I think his knee was down.
Looks like his knees were down before the ball was punched loose by a Wolverine. We'll get another look on our Triangle Bar and Grill replay. Yeah, that right knee down before the ball is forced loose by Joshua Rawlings.
I like it, though. The Wolverines keep hacking at that football. You've knocked it out 4 times already in this first quarter. One officially. Couldn't recover the second one, and now I think Woodland Hills had to take a timeout. Some personnel issues on defense.
And we'll use this opportunity to take a breather ourselves. 25 seconds to go in quarter number 1. It's Woodland Hills 14, Moon 0. You're tuned into the Wolverines and the Moon Tigers on the Trib Live High School Sports Network and the Woodland Hills Football Network, presented by State Senator Jay Costa.
Serving the Turtle Creek Valley and surrounding areas for over 111 years, Patrick T. Lanigan Funeral Home is pleased to announce the opening of their new crematory at their Turtle Creek location. Families choosing cremation can have added peace of mind, knowing that their loved one never leaves the care of Patrick T. Lanigan Funeral Home, and that our crematory is used exclusively for the families we serve.
You're tuned in to Wolverine Football, presented by State Senator Jay Costa on the Woodland Hills Football Network.
Back in Turtle Creek, where Woodland Hills leads the Moon Tigers 14-0. Adam Gusky, Bob Orquist up here in the booth. Rick McIntyre down on the field. 14-0 Woodland Hills. Time waning here in quarter number 1. As the Tigers have the ball first down and 10, they'll send quads to the left of the formation. Pump by Konechka. He's going to throw it deep. He has the receiver wide open, right in his hands. Ramon Dean had the ball. A Wolverine was close, but not very close by any stretch of the imagination, and Dean just dropped the rock.
I want to say it was Jaquan Smith, and he's feeling very fortunate because Dean, the pump fake on the near side, you mentioned quads. That's a good formation. Well played, just not handled at the end. It was Jaquan Smith on the coverage, kind of bit on the pump fake. Dean dropped it, all for naught.
So again, they'll send quads to the left, will the Moon Tigers. One receiver to the far side right. Just 5 offensive linemen with an empty set, and Konechka standing all by himself back there. The official asking for 17 seconds to be put back up on the clock instead of 7. So we'll send quads to the left again. One receiver right. Konechka by himself back there. Big splits like you said earlier, Bobbio. Motion man from left to right. Konechka's going to play action it and dive it forward himself. He'll be wrapped and brought down by Sidney Summers. A pickup of 5 yards will bring up 3rd down and about 5. And in all likelihood, this will be the final play of quarter number 1. And we will step away, and when we return, it'll be the second quarter. It's Woodland Hills 14, Moon 0. You're tuned into the Wolverines and the Tigers on the Trib Live High School Sports Network and the Woodland Hills Football Network. Presented by State Senator Jay Costa.
LG3 Entertainment is a first-class disc jockey and karaoke entertainment company that serves the Pittsburgh and surrounding areas. They offer a wide range of music entertainment for weddings, anniversaries, school dances, corporate events, and more. They also offer beautiful chair cover linen rentals to give your event the elegance it deserves. They offer many more services, so go to their website today and see why so many choose LG3 Entertainment for the best in family fun entertainment.
You're tuned in to Wolverine Football, presented by State Senator Jay Costa on the Woodland Hills Football Network.
Back at the Wolverine, where Woodland Hills leads the Moon Tigers 14-0 as we are set to begin quarter number 2. On a beautiful night here in mid-October in western Pennsylvania. Partly cloudy skies, 66 degrees. Reasonably humid, but not a lot of wind to speak of. Early sunrise has begun to creep into our midst here in western PA as well. More traditional formation. And they'll run the counter to the right-hand side as Jadlocki, the ball carrier. He'll drive his way across the 35 to the 36-yard line. And a pickup of 3 yards brings up 4th down and about 2. And Moon has to decide if they want to punt the football or if they want to go for it here on 4th down and about 2 from their own 35. And I don't know that that's the best idea.
I see Konechka come back in. Also Malcolm Johnson, who splits wide to the far boundary. And they'll be trying to draw the Wolverines offside.
Probably what is likely the case here, and Moon is going to use a timeout. We'll take that opportunity to take a breather too. Again, 14-0 Woodland Hills leading Moon. You're tuned into the Wolverines and the Tigers on the Trib Live High School Sports Network and the Woodland Hills Football Network, presented by State Senator Jay Costa.
Whether you need a new website or want to improve your existing site, Web Landings can serve your needs. Web Landings provides professional, easy-to-maintain websites for businesses, organizations, and individuals. Discover more at weblandings.com and find out how editing your site can be as easy as using a word processor. Plus, we offer 1 year of free hosting for any website developed. Visit weblandings.com today.
You're tuned in to Wolverine Football, presented by State Senator Jay Costa on the Woodland Hills Football Network.
So Moon again has the offense out there as the punter is Konechka. He'll creep towards the line of scrimmage. He'll take the snap. He'll drive his way forward. He'll have the ball ripped away from him by Jeremy Turner, and Jeremy Turner will be brought down back around the 30-yard line. Now we have officials coming in saying that Moon got the first down.
I'm not sure if they fumbled. I didn't think they got enough for that first down.
They did. You know what, Bob, all season long, the officiating's been pretty decent. I have no idea what the heck that was. I mean, Konechka got to the line of scrimmage, then had the ball ripped away from him by Jeremy Turner, and somehow, instead of 1st and 10 for Woodland Hills inside of the 30, it's 1st and 10 for Moon at the 37.
Still had forward progress going, too, so that ball was taken out of there by Turner.
Konechka looking right, throwing right. The pass is complete to Ramon Dean. Ramon Dean out towards the 39-yard line where the tackle is made by Jaquan Smith, and that'll bring up 2nd down and about 8.
Good tackle on the near boundary by Jaquan Smith. If Dean is able to get a step around him, he's got good yardage, good room on the near sideline. But Jaquan Smith is able to hold that to just to a 2-yard pickup.
Konechka, shotgun, trips left. One receiver to the near side right. Now they'll motion twins to either side. Konechka looking right the whole way, and the pass, nearly intercepted, diving for it when Jaden Lucas, he had an opportunity to catch the ball after the tip to himself, but it falls to the turf, incomplete, and that'll bring up 3rd down and 8.
Good coverage by Lucas, the junior, to jump that route to the near side. Little button hook for Panucci, Anthony Panucci, their top receiver, and better coverage by Lucas, and then very nearly interception. The Woodland Hills defense has been really good over the last several games, creating turnovers. They got one already tonight, not by an interception, however, and a number of sacks in the last several games. So the defense has kind of found its footing as well, and almost getting an INT there by Jaden Lucas.
Trips left, 2 receivers to the near side right, a hard count by Konechka. Woodland Hills Wolverine kind of leaned forward, however.
I think it was Luffy.
It was
Moon Tigers who
Zach
moved.
Jadlocki who moved over on the near side. I didn't see an offensive lineman move, but I definitely saw a receiver move.
Being an old offensive lineman, right? Luffy was disappointed, but maybe he was disappointed that it was Jadlocki who moved.
Against White, 5-yard penalty, still 3rd down.
So the hard count works, but not the way the Tigers wanted it to work.
Bobby, I wanted to point this out earlier. We've seen Sidney Summers make a handful of plays thus far today. Now, he hasn't played the entire game at his middle linebacker spot, but can you imagine the kind of impact he would have had a week ago when the linebackers were just so dominant? Throwing to the left-hand side, the pass is complete. As Konechka throws it, it's complete to Anthony Panucci. It's ripped away by a Wolverine. Diving on it is Jeremy Turner, and this time it's going to be Woodland Hills with the football.
Yeah, just want to make sure, Jeremy Turner.
No, they're going to say that it's not a fumble. Turner is irate, and you know what? Quite frankly, I can't say I blame him. I can't imagine how forward progress is being stalled when guys are still running forward. Panucci had the ball ripped away.
His hand was down.
Yeah.
And his leg was not yet down when that ball came out.
Trips right, pass tipped, and then nearly intercepted by a Wolverine, and then through the hands of a Moon Tiger, and it will be 2nd down and 10 for Moon at the 48-yard line. Bobby, I don't know what the heck is going on out there. The officials have waved off 2 fumbles thus far that were obvious fumbles by the Moon Tigers. Actually, make it 3 because we saw Konechka step up to the line of scrimmage and have the ball ripped away from him by Jeremy Turner. However, they said his forward progress was stopped and they gave Moon a 1st down instead of giving Woodland Hills the football. Now Konechka's going to run his way forward. He's going to drive out towards Jeremy Turner, who knocked Konechka to the ground, and then a flag came in because Jeremy Turner was being hugged by Nick Kotick right near the midfield stripe, and they're going to back the Tigers up.
Konechka on his helmet. Good tackle right there. You mentioned Nick Kotick.
We got a hold
an
against
Army
White,
recruits.
10-yard penalty. It'll still be 2nd down.
One of those downfield holding calls. Konechka will pick up 5, and then you'll take it from there. So Jadlocki will come in to play quarterback.
Parenthetically, Bobby O, the officials asked for the clock to be stopped at the end of the 3rd quarter because they thought our Rick McIntyre was one of the Woodland Hills coaches, and they wanted to throw a flag on the Woodland Hills bench.
I thought that was the case.
Yeah. That's why Scott Henderson was talking to one of the officials. I just got a text from Rick down on the sidelines clearing that up near the end of the 1st quarter, why there was that stoppage, and they asked for the clock to be reset, etc. Jadlocki, the quarterback there on 2nd down and pretty long. He'll drive his way forward out towards the 47-yard line, where it'll bring up 3rd down and 11.
Rick in the thick of it once again down there. And this officiating crew is not having a banner first half. There's our buddy.
There he is, Rick Trips left, Twins left, Trips right. Konechka pumps, throws, has a receiver wide open, and that ball is caught. Going down to the turf, Malcolm Johnson, and Johnson will set up Moon, first down and 10 at the 25-yard line.
28-yard pickup. We've seen the Woodland Hills have trouble with this formation, and a good job by Konechka. Looked that way. Not a great pump fake, but didn't need to be. There were 3 Woodland Hills defenders over there. Michael Coleman finally brings the receiver Malcolm Johnson down, but he was wide open.
Twins left, 3 receivers to the right-hand side. Pass to the end zone, in and out of the hands of Jaquan Smith, the Woodland Hills defensive back. He had a beat on the football, and while the pass was technically intended for Anthony Ortiz kind of had to get underneath Jaquan Smith to jostle the ball free.
Talked about interceptions. I thought Jaquan had that one at the goal line. Konechka had 2 receivers coming to the near side, and it was actually Ortiz, you mentioned it, was closest to that. He was looking for a flag, but Smith was just making a break on the football.
Trips right, 2 receivers to the short side left. Konechka in the shotgun. Empty set. Straight drop back. He's pressured. He spins out of that pressure. He'll drive his way forward. Will Konechka now be wrapped and brought down. Tackled by Nazir Taylor.
Initial pressure was Joshua Rawlings, but give Konechka credit because he just kind of rolled off of that pressure. No, Teron Best, he came in and just kind of overshot on his angle. That allowed Konechka to roll forward instead of getting sacked. He does pick up 2 yards.
Trips right, 2 receivers to the short side left. Konechka in the shotgun on 3rd down and 8. Konechka looking to the right-hand side, and the pass is intended for Panucci, and he was back there in one-on-one coverage with Christopher Jones. The incomplete pass brings up 4th down and 8, and the punt unit will come on for the Moon Tigers.
Field goal, I believe, with Nick Morrow.
That's what I meant. I apologize. Yeah, the field goal unit. Nick Morrow. Parenthetically, Nick Morrow, 6 feet, 225 pounds, wears number 72. Looks a lot more like a defensive lineman than he does a kicker.
He's got 8 field goals. Number 72, they asked him, they saw him playing for the soccer team. They asked him a few years ago to come out to the football team. 72 was the only number remaining, so that's the number he got.
And the field goal is blocked. Woodland Hills has an opportunity to scoop it up. Jeremy Turner will scoop it up. He lost his balance. And Woodland Hills will have the football, 1st down and 10 at around the 30-yard line. Tyrell Barlow with the swat of the field goal.
Really delayed on the snap and the hold. That's where this kind of went off the wall. So it was Panucci with the hold. The wheels went off the wagon. I'm not sure if it was a bad snap or what. We'll watch the replay. Panucci had problems getting it set up, and that caused the delay. And it was big Tyrell Barlow with the right hand to swat the block field goal, and Woodland Hills takes over at their own 29.
Turner had an opportunity for a big return, but he had that forward lean going so far forward that he ended up losing his balance. And Woodland Hills again sets up shop here at the 29. Handoff will go to Anthony Meredith. Had a crease for a moment and then is brought down by Christian Tanner. Gain of about 2 will bring up 2nd down and 8.
With Jeremy Turner, sees that on film, he's going to wish he didn't have that forward lean. He kept his balance because I'm pretty sure if Turner stays upright, he takes that block field goal back the other way. Nonetheless, good play. The defense again, special teams that time, making the play. That was just the 2nd carry of this 1st quarter for Anthony Meredith.
Twins to either side. Delayed handoff. Meredith trying to bounce it to the right. Turns it back to the left-hand side. He'll cross the 35 to the 36-yard line. And it'll go from 3rd and 8 to about 4th down and 3. Or rather, 3rd down from 2nd and 8 to 3rd and 3. As the flags are set, and the ball is at the 36-yard line. Twins left, double tight formation. Meredith the lone setback. He'll hand off. Meredith driving his way forward. He's got the 1st down and much, much more. Finally undercut at the 49-yard line, where it'll be 1st and 10 for Woodland Hills.
Really close, Anthony Meredith, the junior, was to breaking that. Did a good job to keep his balance. Running to the right between the right guard and the right tackle. And Panucci tripped him up and he stumbled into another man, and then Sunday was able to bring Meredith down. But if Meredith is able to keep his balance, he'll take that the distance.
Straight drop back. Jones looking left, throwing left. The pass intended for Michael Roman is incomplete. He was in double coverage, but somehow the ball still found its way to his hands. And Jake Dunning, I think, may have done more to just kind of distract Michael Roman than anything to force that incompletion.
Sometimes that's all you need. I thought that Dunning may have got a piece of that. We're going to check out the replay, but he was there. No, I'm not sure he got his paw on that. It kind of ended up underthrown a little bit. Roman tried to make a last-second adjustment, but couldn't come up with that pass.
One receiver to the near side left, a wing to the left as well. Handoff instead will go to the lone setback. The ball carrier is William Clark, and William Clark has the first down on the draw.
He'll pick up 12 on his first carry. The sophomore, we saw him come in late in the game against Baldwin and have a good game earlier in the year. This time just took it great. No hesitation at all, and then a nice job to use his vision by Clark to cut back to the near side before being wrapped up. Jake Dunning on the leg tackle and the takedown, but not before Clark picked up 12, and the Wolverines are inside the 40 of the Moon Tigers.
Meredith alone setback, double tights, receivers split to either side, and breaching the neutral zone was a Moon Tiger, Simon Eunice.
Dead ball, encroachment, white, 5-yard penalty, still first down.
So after the penalty, it'll be first down and 5 for Woodland Hills. The ball at the 37-yard line.
You see Ryan Lynn. I mentioned he's in his first year. He is also the girls softball coach at Moon. Formerly coached the West Allegheny Freedom, Southside Beaver. Several first-year coaches in this conference.
And off to Meredith. He had nowhere to go as Sean Halta was the first Tiger there. And that'll bring up second down and 5.
Yeah, did a good job Sunday as well. There were 4 white jerseys. Sometimes you see a big hole. That was absolutely no hole whatsoever on the right side that time for Anthony Meredith.
So second down and 5, the ball at the 33, the clock winding to 4:45 to play in the first half. Woodland Hills leads Moon 14-0. 2 receivers left, double tight end formation. And I don't think the center and the rest of the offense were on the same page.
I'm not sure if even Jones was on the same page with Alexander.
Dead ball, legal procedure, blocked, 5-yard penalty, still second down.
So instead of second and 5 at the 33, it'll be second down and 10 at the 38.
Maybe 3, even 4 different snap counts were in several different heads there. And that was a serious illegal procedure for the Wolverines.
Either way, Woodland Hills is going to send a bunch to the right, and they'll set up in the Wildcat, but it will be Nas Taylor handing off Anthony Meredith, the ball carrier, keeping his balance at least for a moment or two as he drives his way to the 35-yard line. Tackle made by Malcolm Johnson, and that'll bring up third down and about 7 from the 35.
It's a good pickup of 8. I kind of like that, too. We saw what Taylor could do, and he's a pretty good decoy. That was just a straight handoff, and you're hoping that Moon respects Taylor's big playability enough that they follow him. And there was enough of delay for Meredith to pick up 8.
Nas Taylor running right, cutting it back inside, now bouncing it to the outside, to the 25, to the 20, to the 15, to the 10 where he steps out of bounds. It'll be first and 10 for Woodland Hills around the 12-yard line. Woodland Hills sets up shop inside of the Tigers' red zone.
They're going to spot him down at the 13. So Taylor, his first carry of the night for the Wildcat goes for 60 and 6. This one goes for 22. So 2 carries and 82 yards. A nice niche added by Tim Bostard and his staff here at Woodland Hills going to the Wildcat. That's just another way to get the ball into the hands of Nazir Taylor, who makes big plays. Woodland Hills taking too long. They have to burn their second time out.
We have
So timeout on the field. We'll take a break too. 14-0 Woodland Hills. 3:45 to play in the second quarter, but the Wolverines are threatening. You're tuned into the Wolverines and the Tigers on the Trib Live High School Sports Network and the Woodland Hills Football Network, presented by State Senator Jay Costa.
State Senator Jay Costa is proud to represent Pennsylvania's 43rd District since 1996 and is happy to support the Woodland Hills football team. If you have an issue concerning state government, contact one of Senator Costa's 3 local offices. Senator Costa's offices offer a variety of services for constituents. You can reach Senator Costa's Forest Hills office at 412-241-6690 or log on to senatorcosta.com.
3:45 to play, quarter number 2. Woodland Hills first down and 10 at the 13, but movement along the line of scrimmage is going to cost 5 yards.
We have dead ball, motion, block, 5-yard penalty, still first down.
Send it to the sideline. Rick McIntyre, you seem to have an inkling that Woodland Hills was going to have Naz Taylor running the football on that previous offensive play.
Yeah, if you saw the play previous to it where he handed it off, and as he came off that fake, I could see it in Timmy Bossler's eyes down the sideline that right side was wide open. They ran basically the same play with the keep coming to the right side, and he almost broke it.
2 receivers left, 1 set back. Handoff, Meredith running right, still on his feet inside of the 15. He'll be spun down right around the 14-yard line. It'll depend on the spot, but either way it is second down and more than 10. It'll be second and about a dozen with the ball right at the 15.
Good persistence by Meredith to run off right, but better persistence by the Moon defense. Panucci got the initial hit, and then he held him up enough before Logan Young came up, but Meredith did a good job to stay afloat to pick up 3.
Play action. Jones rolling to the left-hand side. He's going to throw, and the pass is intercepted in the end zone. Jones running to the left. Didn't have an opportunity to set his feet, and Woodland Hills squanders an opportunity inside of the Tigers' red zone.
Malcolm Johnson, the junior, picks it off in the end zone. I'm not sure if Jones was trying to hit the underneath receiver from the tight end Joshua Rawlings. There was also a deep receiver as he rolled to the near side, but just not a good pass. He didn't get his body turned around. He threw on the run. Hey, overthrew Rawlings. The deep receiver was the freshman Davian Rochelle, and it was nowhere near him. So just an overthrow, and that's the first turnover of the game for the Wolverines. They're denied on this trip into the red zone.
First down and 10 for Moon. Shotgun formation. Trips right, 2 receivers to the left. Konechka pumps. Now he'll throw. It's a lateral pass, and Moon is going to have the ball instead of at the 20, back at the 12-yard line. Let's send it down to the sideline. Rick McIntyre, you have something for us.
Yeah, I think I sent you a text earlier about it, but I've been watching on this near sideline the matchup between Nazir Taylor and number 23 for Moon, Malcolm Johnson.
Yes.
It's about as physical as anything I've seen from a corner to a receiver, and it's coming from both sides. They're matched up against each other almost every play, it seems, and Nazir got kind of beat on that one little fake, and he's been kind of punishing everybody ever since.
Straight drop back for Konechka. He'll look to the left, he'll throw to the left. One-handed grab by Panucci. He's off to the races. He'll be caught by Jaquan Smith, but not before taking the ball all the way down inside of the 30 to the 29-yard line.
59-yard pickup. Actually, call it 61. Great catch by Panucci. That's a one-handed grab on that post pattern right down the middle. He reached up and snagged it in stride with his left hand. And Jaquan Smith had the speed enough to stay with Panucci. Nonetheless, a big gainer of 61 yards for the Moon Tigers.
Trips right, wins to the short side left. Konechka looking left, throwing left. The pass intended for a number that's not on our roster, and the incomplete pass will bring up second down and 10.
That was number 24, and we couldn't get a confirmation from the coaching staff earlier. They've done a good job running Wildcat. They've run the spread formation. That pass was nowhere near being completed from Pool Konechka.
Tigers break the huddle. to receivers right. Bunch to the short side left. Now a motion man from left to right. Konechka's going to drive his way forward as he feigned the end around to Panucci. He'll drive his way inside of the 25 to around the 23 where Tyrell Barlow makes the tackle. That'll bring up third down and about 6 from the 23. And that's where they will spot the ball. Tigers, this drive set up by an interception by Malcolm Johnson. He just stepped in front of a pass by Daniel Jones. And the Tigers have turned field position around, basically set up by a big pass from Konechka to Panucci. Trips right to receivers left. Konechka looking left the whole way. Has a receiver open on that far sideline. It looks like Logan Young on the catch for the Moon Tigers, and Young will be brought down right near the first down flag. It'll depend on the spot, but from where the official is on the far sideline at the 16, that'll be enough for the first down.
It looked to me like Young knew exactly where to go. Ran that pattern. They needed 7. He ran it right to the stick. Turned to try to get extra yardage at the end, which almost cost him, but he's brought down right at that lead stick, and it is another first down for the Moon Tigers.
So 1:36 to play here in quarter number 2. Moon threatening inside of the Woodland Hills red zone. Trips right. 2 receivers to the short side left as the ball's on the left hash. Konechka looking right the whole way, throwing right, and the pass is caught for a Moon Tigers touchdown. Anthony Panucci got a step away from Michael Roman and grabbed it for the TD. 16-yard touchdown for the Moon Tigers on the pass to Panucci.
Panucci's the player who made the big play to get them out of a hole on 2nd and long from their own 12, and he gets the flag route, the down and out to the near side, and got a step on the near sideline on Michael Coleman. Konechka right on the mark. Morrow adds the extra point, and the Tigers have cut the lead in half.
14-7 the score, 1:20 to play in quarter number 2. We're tuned into the Wolverines and the Tigers on the Trib Live High School Sports Network and the Woodland Hills Football Network, presented by State Senator Jay Costa.
The Triangle Bar and Grill in Swissvale is a proud sponsor of the Wolverines and has been serving the Woodland Hills community for nearly 70 years. The Triangle, located on Monongahela Avenue, is the home of the Battleship, the sandwich that made Swissvale famous. Plus, the Triangle has a full menu of specialty sandwiches you're gonna love. Call the Triangle at 412-271-9885 to place your order now.
You're tuned in to Wolverine Football, presented by State Senator Jay Costa on the Woodland Hills Football Network.
The Moon Tigers turn an interception thrown by Daniel Jones into a touchdown. 2 big plays. Cole Konechka to Anthony Panucci for 60-plus yards, and then a 16-yard touchdown pass puts the Tigers on the board for the first time today and cuts the Woodland Hills lead in half from 14-0 to 14-7. A low kick bouncing towards a Wolverine. It'll be Jaquan Smith on the return. Running from the left hash to the right-hand side. He's got a crease to the 30, to the 40. He'll drive his way across the 45, out towards midfield, where he's finally brought down at the 48-yard line, where it'll be first down and 10 for Woodland Hills.
It's about a 35-yard return, and a nice job by Jaquan Smith to take that and spin immediately from the near side to the far side. The rest was his legs. Interesting, Woodland Hills with a timeout. Not much of a passing game. That's originally Jaquan Smith goes from the 12 to the 48, so 36 yards on the kick return for Jaquan Smith. Taylor's the man to watch. There's Taylor and Johnson. Rick was talking about that matchup. They're right in front of us on the near boundary.
Twins to either side. Woodland Hills is going to run the end around. It's Jaquan Smith coming from right to left, driving his way into Tigers territory inside of the 50 to the 49-yard line. Woodland Hills going to eat up some clock here as they only have 1 timeout. I want to make sure that they either score or take a 7-point lead in the locker room. Woodland Hills breaking the huddle with 47 seconds to play in this second quarter and a 7-point lead. Twins to either side. Jones throwing to the near side left. It's complete to Jaden Lucas, and Jaden Lucas will be forced down, but he will have his forward progress stalled before stepping out of bounds. It's a gain of just 1 yard, and it'll bring up third down and about 6.
Sunday makes the tackle. And a good job not only to stop the forward progress, but to keep Lucas in bounds. I think Lucas, if he continues to come to the near side, he gets out of bounds. He kind of hesitated.
Swims to either side again. Jones with some pressure, tried to sidestep it. He'll be wrestled. He's still on his feet. Finally, they're going to blow the whistle. And Woodland Hills is going to take a 7-point lead into the locker room as Christian Tanner knifed through and put the pressure on Daniel Jones. But the Moon Tigers take a modicum of momentum into the locker room after scoring a touchdown and then stifling a Woodland Hills drive. We're going to step away for 30 seconds, then we'll review the first half, and then we'll step away for a bit. Again, your halftime score, 14-7, Woodland Hills leading Moon. You're tuned in to the Wolverines and the Moon Tigers on the Trib Live High School Sports Network and the Woodland Hills Football Network, presented by State Senator Jay Costa.
A-Boss Opticians on Braddock Avenue in Braddock is your one-stop optical shop. With hundreds of the latest frame styles and lenses, the skilled opticians at A-Boss will help select and fit the best eyewear option for you. Plus, A-Boss Opticians is the best eyewear repair facility in the area. No matter what your eyewear needs are, make A-Boss Opticians your opticians. Call A-Boss Opticians at 412-271-4424 or visit abossopticians.com.
You're tuned in to Wolverine Football, presented by State Senator Jay Costa on the Woodland Hills Football Network.
Back in Turtle Creek, where Woodland Hills takes a 7-point lead into the locker room, 14-7 over the Moon Tigers. Adam Gusky, Bob Orquist up here in the press box down on the field. It is Rick McIntyre and Bobby O. As we look back at that first half, Woodland Hills had tons of opportunities, some of them taken away by the guys in the stripes. However, Woodland Hills also had an opportunity to build on a 14-point lead as they had the ball inside of the Tigers' red zone. They were capitalizing on a blocked field goal by Tyrell Barlow, drove that ball all the way down inside of the Tigers' red zone, and then an interception thrown by Daniel Jones, and the Tigers turned that into a Moon touchdown on 2 huge plays from Konechka to Panucci.
Yeah, indeed. Consecutive plays from scrimmage led to the 2 Woodland Hills scores, so a quick 14-0 lead. But an opportunity that you'd like to have back, I think, if you're Daniel Jones overthrowing Josh Rawlings at the goal line. Give credit to the Tigers because Panucci made a great catch and run to set up the drive, and then Konechka hit Panucci in the end zone. So you mentioned it right at the end. The momentum kind of shifted after that interception for the Moon Tigers, and I think they're the happier team heading into the locker room here at halftime, Adam, even though they're down 7.
And Rick, Bobby's talking about how Moon's probably the happier team. I know that you got an inkling that the Woodland Hills coaching staff not at all happy with the defensive performance in the final Tigers drive of that half.
Yeah, coming down on that last maybe 2 or 3 plays before that touchdown, I heard a lot of bickering, a lot of hollering from the sidelines. It looked like there was a couple jump calls. Something the defense has been doing a lot lately, where they set up in the 5 and they're shifting over right before the snap. They weren't doing that, and it looked like maybe half the team, the secondary was playing man, and the other half was playing zone.
Again, your halftime score is 14-7. Woodland Hills on top of the Moon Township Tigers here at the Wolverine in this big WPIAL 5A Allegheny 9 conference matchup. Woodland Hills gets the win today. They'll head to the WPIAL playoffs yet again. They've only missed it 2 times in program history. However, they've got a pesky Tiger team on their heels with some momentum headed into the locker room. We're going to step away for a few minutes right here on the Woodland Hills Football Network. If you're watching live on Facebook or our TV affiliates, you can watch the Moon and Woodland Hills bands. If you're tuned in on the MSA Sports Network, the Trib Live High School Sports Network, stay tuned for the halftime show. And if you're watching our replays, we'll be right back with coverage of the second half. Again, you're tuned in to the Wolverines and the Moon Tigers on the Trib Live High School Sports Network and the Woodland Hills Football Network, presented by State Senator Jay Costa.
You're listening to Wolverine Football, presented by State Senator Jay Costa on the Woodland Hills Football Network. Wolverine Football is also brought to you by the Triangle Barn Grill, LGAR Health and Rehabilitation Center, Patrick T. Lanigan Funeral Home, Bush Brothers Car Care, the Barbers Inn in Swissvale, A-Boss Opticians, the Turtle Creek Valley Rotary Club, Web Landings, and LG3 Entertainment. Now it's time for the Woodland Hills Football Network Halftime Show.
It's halftime. Woodland Hills leads the Moon Tigers 14-7. Adam Gusky and Bob Workwitz up here in the booth. Down on the field, it's Rick McIntyre. We'll have full halftime coverage for you and get you set for the second half right here on the Woodland Hills Football Network momentarily. Back in 90 seconds, you're tuned in to the Wolverines and the Tigers on the Trib Live High School Sports Network and the Woodland Hills Football Network, all presented by State Senator Jay Costa.
State Senator Jay Costa is proud to represent Pennsylvania's 43rd District since 1996 and is happy to support the Woodland Hills football team. If you have an issue concerning state government, contact one of Senator Costa's 3 local offices. Senator Costa's offices offer a variety of services for constituents. You can reach Senator Costa's Forest Hills office at 412-241-6690 or log on to senatorcosta.com. The Triangle Bar and Grill in Swissvale is a proud sponsor of the Wolverines and has been serving the Woodland Hills community for nearly 70 years. The Triangle, located on Monongahela Avenue, is the home of the Battleship, the sandwich that made Swissvale famous. Plus, the Triangle has a full menu of specialty sandwiches you're gonna love. Call the Triangle at 412-271-9885 to place your order now.
Life has its ups and downs. There are times when you or a loved one needs help. That's why you should know the name LGAR, Health and Rehabilitation Center. Located just minutes from the Monroeville Mall, the LGAR Health and Rehabilitation Center has been known by locals for many years, and they excel in reputation, rehabilitation, recuperation, and residential living. The help and answers you need are just a phone call away at 412-825-9000. Also on the web at lgar.org. LGAR Health and Rehabilitation Center, a name you should know and a name you can trust.
You're tuned in to Wolverine Football, presented by State Senator Jay Costa on the Woodland Hills Football Network.
And we welcome you back here at the Wolverina. 14-7 is the score. Woodland Hills leading the Moon Tigers right here at the Wolverina in this big WPIAL Allegheny 9 conference matchup. And Bobby O, we talked about it before we stepped away. A good bit of momentum headed into the locker room for the Moon Tigers.
Well, there's no question about it, Adam. You're mentioning the score 14-7, and it seems like it should be worse in favor of the Woodland Hills Wolverines, at least maybe 21-0 after that interception in the end zone. But got to give credit to the Moon Tigers. They got the turnover, and they took advantage of the big pass connection from Konechka to Pernucci, and those two hooked up on their touchdown. Woodland Hills gets the ball to start the second half, so they need to put their running game in drive once again. If you take away the 9-yard sack at the end of the half, Woodland Hills had 154 yards on the ground in the first half, so good production led by Nazir Taylor, 2 carries, 82 yards, including the 60-yard touchdown.
Let's send it down to the sideline. Rick McIntyre is going to join us. And Rick, I know you were both near the Moon Tigers and now with the Woodland Hills Wolverines. What's the feelings from both of those teams as they come out of the mid-game break?
As you can remember, the last couple home games where I've been on the sidelines, usually at halftime, this is where head coach Timmy Bostard standing next to me, giving me a nice, cordial interview. He came out. I gave him the thumbs up with the mic, and he's laser focused. He didn't want to talk to anybody. You could tell he's upset about the way everything kind of panned out in the first half. And I got a feeling the coaches did their job in the locker room at halftime. And I think Woodland Hills is going to come out rolling here in the third quarter.
And you know, Rick, we've talked about it with Bob already. This game huge because if Woodland Hills wins this game, they qualify for the playoffs. You add to that the fact that they hold a conference championship in their hands if they're able to win this game and win the next 2 very big road games. So obviously this game has a lot in the balance for their future.
Yeah, and I think that's probably a good bit to do with the way Timmy kind of looked at me when I had the nerve to ask him to do an interview with me after halftime there. But I think they got the troops ready. These kids know what they need to do. A couple questionable, we'll just say bad calls by the officials in that first half. I think the replay will probably confirm a lot of those fumbles. And you got to move past that if you want to win that conference, you want to win the championship, you got to be able to move past those obstacles and beat the teams that you're supposed to beat like we're supposed to do tonight.
Rick, thanks a lot, and we'll hear from you as the second half rolls on. Again, your halftime score is 14-7. Woodland Hills leading the Moon Tigers. And Bobby, And Woodland Hills will get the ball to begin this second half, and you've got to expect that they want to get that offense rolling again after we saw it stall not only late in the second quarter as they turned it over, but really couldn't get much done with that last-minute drive.
Yeah, I think so. I'm not sure if we'll see Daniel Jones come out. I like the change-up in formation with Nazir Taylor running the Wildcat. I'm sure we'll see that, maybe not to start the second half. Nazir Taylor well over 130 all-purpose yards if you throw that kick return in there. So he's done good things. Even though he hasn't caught a pass tonight, he's played well defensively. He's back there on this return with Jaquan Smith.
So Jaquan Smith back deep to return to the left. To the right is Michael Coleman, and back deep in the center is Nazir Taylor. And it will be Jaquan Smith from the 9 running to the right. Has a crease to the 25 to the 30. Cutting it back to the 40. Still on his feet out around the 45 where he's dragged down by his jersey. Right near that 45-yard line. Tackle made by Dalton Dobbins. And again, it's first down and 10 for Woodland Hills.
It's almost a 40-yard return. Called 38 for Jaquan Smith. They make it 37. They move him back to the 45, but
Woodland Hills offense on the right hash. They'll send two receivers to that short side right. Under center is Jones. He will hand off to Jaquan Smith, who lowers his shoulder, drives his way forward, dragging white jerseys with him. Out towards the 49-yard line where it'll be second down and about 6 after that 4-yard gain.
Smith pounding his way through a bunch of defenders. Good effort, gains 4 yards. Charge on that play led by Jacob Cunningham. Boom. Second and 6, Woodland Hills.
So second down and 6. Two receivers to the near side left. Draw a handoff. Jaquan Smith into Tigers territory, dragging white jerseys with him to the 45-yard line. That should be enough for a Woodland Hills first down.
That's what they need to do. It's been their bread and butter this year. The running game has been outstanding. If you look back, Anthony Meredith a few weeks ago in Chartiers Valley had 95 yards on the ground, but if you count that almost as a 100-yard game, you've got a 100-yard game against Fox Chapel, you got a 100-yard game against Penn Trafford, a 100-yard game against Hampton, and another 100-yard game against North Hills. Meredith, Smith, Denard doing the damage from the backfield.
Draw a handoff. Jaquan Smith, he's got a crease. He's got the first down as he's finally brought down at the 35-yard line, a 10-yard gain.
Way to do it. 3 consecutive runs for Jaquan Smith, gaining 20 yards. He had 25 yards and a touchdown in the first half, so quickly up to 45 yards, Jaquan Smith.
Two receivers to the wide side left. Double tights, one back set behind Jones. Jones, he's going to hand off on the counter. Jaquan Smith running left, cutting it back to the right-hand side as he's banged down, leaned towards the 30-yard line before being brought down by Christian Tanner. And it's second down and 5 for Woodland Hills. Jaquan Smith with 2 5-yard carries, 2 10-yard carries, and then a 5-yard carry, setting up this drive for Woody High.
He's doing a nice job. Doesn't matter if he's gone right or come to the near side to his left. Good start on this opening drive of the third quarter for the Wolverines.
Draw a handoff. Jaquan Smith bouncing it to the right, inside of the 25, cutting it back to the left. Across the 20, still on his feet, finally brought down inside of the red zone around the 17-yard line. Bobby, that was so reminiscent of the touchdown he scored a week ago. He just would not be denied on that TD, and this was that same kind of tenacity.
Great vision initially to see the hole to the right and then to the cutback ability to the left. The tenacity is also in there for Jaquan Smith. He's got speed. It's pretty good size, not great size at 6 foot 177, so brings a couple different things to the table running the football for the Wolverines.
Maurice Walker in the foreground of that last shot's got to be thrilled with his running back. Hand off. Smith running left. He'll be brought down at the 15-yard line, a pickup of about 3. Maurice Walker, one of the all-time greats here at Woodland Hills. And, you know, when you talk about running backs at Woodland Hills, there's a lot of all-time greats over the last 30 years.
There's no question about it. It's definitely been the bread and butter here for the Wolverines. You mentioned it. Rick mentioned it earlier about actually, before midday came along, you wouldn't throw the football, and sometimes you didn't have to.
Twins right, double tight end, one back set. Jones, hands off. Sliding past defenders goes Jaquan Smith inside of the 10.
Jaquan Smith sliding past the
Getting near the first down marker. He'll pick up about 6. He needed 7. That'll bring up third down and about 1.
This drive is definitely having a stamp put on it by Jaquan Smith. He's carried every play in this drive.
A week ago, we saw a similar situation where Anthony Meredith carried the load for Woodland Hills, and it paid off on a 10-yard touchdown run for him. Let's see if Jaquan Smith can have a similar performance here on this drive. Handoff to Smith. He'll lower the shoulder. Dragging white jerseys. He's shoving his way to the first down flag before being pushed back. The officials will say he's just a hair shy of that first down marker, though. At around the 8-yard line, he needed to get down towards the 7, and it'll be fourth down and 1, and decision time for Tim Bostard. He doesn't even hesitate. He keeps the offense on the field.
Well, Smith is going to take a blow, and that's going to take care of my perfect stat line on this drive. It's been all against number 10. Meredith is in there, the lone man behind Daniel Jones.
Double tights. Jones looked to step under center, and Woodland Hills head coach Tim Bostard is going to use his first time out of the second
We
half.
have timeout. Block. That's your first within the half.
You're tuned into the Wolverines and the Tigers on the Trib Live High School Sports Network and the Woodland Hills Football Network, presented by State Senator Jay Costa.
Patrick T. Lanigan Funeral Home, with locations in East Pittsburgh and Turtle Creek, is a member of the Hall of Excellence of the National Funeral Directors Association. This reflects the same pursuit of excellence by our Woodland Hills football team, cheerleaders, marching band, students, staff, and faculty. For over 110 years, Patrick T. Lanigan Funeral Home has been honored to serve local families and to be a proud partner of the Woodland Hills communities.
You're tuned in to Wolverine Football, presented by State Senator Jay Costa on the Woodland Hills Football Network.
One back set on fourth down and 1 at the Moon 8-yard line. Double tights, receiver split to either side. Jones under center. Hands off. Jaquan Smith. He'll shove his way towards the 7 before being driven back. The officials will credit him to the 6, and that'll be enough for a Woodland Hills first down. First and goal for Woody High.
Good strength again. Jacob Cunningham got in there, as did his teammate Christian Tanner, but Smith did a good job. He got a blow. Actually, the timeout mentioned that he went out and Meredith came in, but with the timeout, Woodland Hills put him back in. They handed the ball off to number 10, as they have done on every play of this drive, and Smith gets the first down.
They said it was fourth down. The flag said fourth down. Now it's first and goal, and the flags are still out there. So what are we doing, guys? They're going to measure. Okay, that's fine. Parenthetically, Bobby, the initial spot from the official on the near side was the 6-yard line. Yeah. The official on the far side marked it at the 6-yard line. Then they set the ball down right around the 7-yard line. So we've talked about it already today, how these officials have struggled. This, just another example. See how they stretch the chains here.
They've had issues with, it's still a first down, but it's a first down.
I don't know what Moon was talking about. They started coming off of the field. The ball is past the flag. I can see it from here.
They've had issues with progress tonight, this officiating crew has. Whether it's been stopped or not stopped, or in this case, the spot. All good, though. Woodland Hills gets the first down.
I mean, that was, quite frankly, a big waste of our time, because the ball initially was set at the 7. Somehow they put it down, or set at the 6, rather. They put it down at the 7.
Deep rest, my friend, deep rest.
Woosah. So anyhow, first and goal at the 7. Jaquan Smith alone setback. He's the ball carrier. He runs left. He'll saunter into the end zone for a Woodland Hills touchdown, and Woodland Hills back up on top by 2 scores. And that was the Jaquan Smith drive. It was all Jaquan.
55 yards on the drive, all credited to Jaquan Smith. And he just burst around left end, really untouched for a second touchdown of the game. Good job to hesitate, had a man chasing him from behind. A little bit of a nip on his ankle, but other than that, Jaquan Smith for 8 touchdowns now in the season for the senior, and Woodland Hills is up 20-7.
Kick by Chucky Hanchett up, and inside of that right, upright and good, and it's 21-7. Woodland Hills leading Moon with 7:10 to play in the third quarter. You're tuned into the Wolverines and the Tigers on the Trib Live High School Sports Network and the Woodland Hills Football Network, presented by State Senator Jay Costa.
Bush Brothers Car Care Center in Swissvale has been a Monongahela Avenue institution for nearly 30 years. Bush Brothers is a full-service mechanic and tire shop for all types of vehicles. Whether you need mechanical work, alignment, state inspection, emissions testing, new tires, or just an oil change, Bush Brothers is the place for you. Bush Brothers Car Care Center, Monongahela Avenue in Swissvale, or give Martin and Jason a call at 412-351-5342.
You're tuned in to Wolverine Football, presented by State Senator Jay Costa on the Woodland Hills Football Network.
21-7, Woodland Hills leading the Moon Tigers. A 55-yard touchdown drive capped off by a 7-yard touchdown run by Jaquan Smith. And we'll send it to the sideline. Rick McIntyre, that was the Jaquan Smith show.
Yeah, again, coming out at halftime, I said they looked like they had that laser focus. That was exactly the drive they needed. No dilly-dallying, straightforward, straight business. Run the ball down their throat, eat up about 5 minutes off the clock, and get it in the end zone.
Chucky Hanchett's kick going to be returned by the Tigers from the 15-yard line. Sounded like there was a devastating collision right around the 25 as a Wolverine and a Tiger both slow to get to their feet, and both will saunter to the sidelines with a bit of a hitch in their getty-up. The initial contact was between Luke Piccolo and Marcus Taylor. See Marcus Taylor rushing down here, and he is the wedge buster, and what a hit there it was. And that really negated our focus from the kick return by the Tigers and the tackle made by Anthony Meredith.
Serious collision right there. I wrote it down, no dilly-dally. That's the key. Thank you, Rick.
Trips right, 2 receivers to the left. We saw this formation a lot in half number 1. It led to a lot of Moon success. Looking left, throwing left, and the pass is complete on that far sideline. The ball is then stripped away. On the catch was Jake Dunning. It was ripped away by Jaden Lucas, but the ball rolled out of bounds before a Wolverine could get there. Now we've seen the ball hit the turf on a half a dozen occasions today. The vast majority of them were called not fumbles. Conversely, this one was called a fumble. However, Woodland Hills couldn't get there to get the takeaway. Instead, 1st and 10 for Moon at the 43. Quarterback draw by Konechka. He'll run his way towards the midfield stripe. Brought down by Michael Coleman, a pickup of 7, and it's 2nd down and 3.
Good read by Coleman to come up. I think this formation has done good things tonight for the Moon Tigers. Spreading out 3 and 2, regardless of the side. That opened up the field. Andre Hilliard had a piece of the jersey of Konechka, but broke out of that tackle to pick up 7 right at midfield.
So 2nd and 3 is Konechka looking right the whole way, and the pass is tipped away. Jaquan Smith with a nice break on the football as the pass intended to the near hash, and Smith slapped it to the turf, and now Smith is shaken up. I think he drew a cramp there in that right leg, and athletic trainer Denny D'Amico going to come out and take a look at Jaquan Smith as he just broke on that football, Bobby O, and slapped it away from Ramon Dean.
Yeah, nice read by Smith. Definitely think a cramp situation. Maybe expected after he had that big workload on the touchdown drive. There you see the Allegheny 9 conference standings that you've been illustrating. The path is clear for the Wolverines to win tonight. They'll be in the playoffs 30 years out of 32.
Wow.
It's a pretty good position.
Yeah, well, this is actually the 31st season.
So it'll be 29. So it'll be 29.
Yeah.
Okay,
Only
so 29
2 seasons Woodland Hills did not make.
It's just a great
playoff
testament to this program. I was thinking back, and you've seen a lot of games being a player here and being the voice of the Wolverines. That touchdown drive, I'm sure you've seen many of those where one player just does all the work. Woodland Hills, if they defeat Moon tonight, they would have head-to-head victories over Hampton, Moon, North Hills, and Short Tears Valley. The only team that they wouldn't have a head-to-head right now would be Fox Chapel. But then they have West Allegheny next week on the road and Upper St. Clair on the road to finish the regular season. So there is the path for Woodland Hills to try to get an Allegheny 9 conference championship.
And as you alluded to, Bobby, next week Woodland Hills taking on the West Allegheny Indians. That game will be in Imperial, Pennsylvania next Friday night. And you and Rick McIntyre will be on the call right here on the Woodland Hills Football Network with the kickoff scheduled for 7 o'clock and the coverage to start just before 7 o'clock, right around 6:52 p.m. And we look forward to you joining us both on the Trib Live High School Sports Network and all across the Woodland Hills Football Network, including our Facebook Live and our TV affiliates. Taking a look at the other side of the WPIAL 5A. Penn Trafford undefeated at 5-0. McKeesport is 5-1. Gateway nipping at the Tigers' heels at 4-1. Franklin Regional 4-2. Armstrong 2-3. And then the Plum Mustangs with a losing record as well at 2-4. Kiski and Latrobe at 1-4. Connellsville yet to win a game in their conference.
I believe in the Big East, if Franklin wins tonight and Armstrong loses, I believe that would wrap the top those 4 playoff spots up. Don't quote me on that, but pretty close.
3rd and 3 for the Tigers. Ball at the midfield stripe. Trips right to receivers to the short side left. Konechka running to the left-hand side, and a nice grab at the ankles to prevent Konechka from going anywhere by Tyrell Barlow.
That's just a great tackle by Barlow because Konechka was a step away from cutting it to his left and getting up the field, but it's a loss of 1 because Barlow did a good job to read. He shucked his blocker, reached back to the right, dropped Konechka, and then will bring on Morrow to kick it away for the Tigers.
And I saw some movement along the line for Moon on the right side. And this is going to cost the Tigers 5 yards. I do believe we'll check in with Mike Burrell, our referee.
Dead ball, motion, white, 5-yard penalty, still 4th down.
Moon Tigers today have punted the ball just 2 times. We have not seen a big return from Woodland Hills over the last 2 weeks after some great returns by Nazir Taylor at Chartiers Valley. Morrow gets underneath this one. A knuckler to the near boundary. Takes a bounce in favor of Woodland Hills again. And now we'll take a neutral roll to the near sideline where it is downed by Jamal Littlejohn, and it is 1st and 10 for Woodland Hills. Again, great field position at the 46-yard line.
The old Shankopotamus makes its appearance here tonight. As far as the Trib Live High School Sports Top 10, Woodland Hills at 6. Penn Trafford number 1, McKeesport 2, Upper St. Clair, West Allegheny. The next 2 opponents, the final 2 opponents of the regular season are 3 and 4. Upper St. Clair, maybe the game of the night in the 5A classification is the non-conference matchup between Upper St. Clair and McKeesport, 2 versus 3.
Twins to the right, double tight ends. Jones rolling right, setting his feet, throwing deep. And Nazir Taylor nearly raced underneath that one. There were 3 white jerseys in the vicinity, but none of them got closer to the football than Nazir Taylor.
I think Taylor, he broke his stride for some reason, and I think if he keeps running, he runs under that pass no problem, and it's a 40 or 54-yard touchdown. I'm not sure why he stopped. There was a wide receiver, Jaden Lucas, who was wide open underneath, and the 3 receivers stayed after Taylor. Maybe he got tied up a little bit with Logan Young as far as their feet getting tied up, and it resulted in an incompletion on the far hash.
So again, Twins to the right, double tights. 1 back set, Meredith the tailback, hesitating, trying to bounce it to the left, and he will be wrapped down around the legs and brought down, tackled on the play by Frankie Sterator.
That's a good job by Sterator because the hesitation and the bounce to the outside by Meredith has been effective this year, but Sterator came up underneath, got rid of his blocker, made the tackle. Brady Sunday was also there. That is a loss of 3 on the carry by Anthony Meredith.
3rd down and 14 for Woodland Hills, back at the 42. The line to gain is the Moon 44-yard line. Twins right, double tights. Woodland Hills going to run the end around. Here comes Jaden Lucas, spinning free, trying to cut to the near side, and Moon is able to stifle that play for a gain of just about 4 yards. Initially, it looked like Lucas had some time, but I think the slow development on the backside allowed Moon to adjust and bring tacklers from that left side over to the right as the play developed.
I think watch when he spins, he comes in the near side, and his blocker downfield, it was Audrey Hilliard, kind of got in his way a little bit. That also kind of impeded his forward progress. He goes down at the 45, and it'll be Whitehurst on to punt it away for the Wolverines.
Whitehurst running right. Thought about tucking and running. He had the green light. Instead, he'll boot it away. And it may have skimmed off of a white jersey. I'm not sure. Marcus Taylor will, down at the official, say it did not touch a Moon Tiger. Instead, it'll be 1st and 10 for Moon at the 26-yard line.
Luke Piccolo was awful close to getting hit as he came flying up amongst 3 black jerseys on that short punt. Trying to watch on the replay. He's lucky he ducked out of the way. That very nearly tipped off his shoulder pad.
So 1st down and 10 for Moon, the ball at the 26-yard line. Woodland Hills came out of the locker room with a 14-7 lead. Just drove the ball down the throats of the Moon Tigers and ended up scoring on a 7-yard touchdown run by Jaquan Smith. A pair of punts, and that's where we stand right now. 1st and 10 for Moon at the 26. His flags fly before the snap. Check in with our referee, Mike Burrow.
We got dead ball procedure against White. 5-yard penalty, still 1st down.
We've seen that a number of times today by the Moon Tigers, Bobbio.
5 by my count. And they go to this wide set.
1st and 15 Moon area from their 21.
That makes it a 1st and 15 from their own 21. Again, they got trips instead of quads, and one wide receiver to the far side with the sidecar in this formation.
Now they'll motion that sidecar to the left of the formation as Konechka looking right, throwing right. Nice break on the football by Nazir Taylor. The pass was intended for Dawson Snyder, but Taylor surged to the ball very quickly, slapped it down to the turf with the left hand.
That's perfectly timed by Taylor. Sometimes you get the backhand, in this case the right hand on, which causes a pass interference, but he came in. Right hand, left hand on the football, right hand on the back of Dawson Snyder at the same time. Good pass defense by Nazir Taylor.
They'll send quads to the right, one receiver to the left of the formation. Now they'll motion a man from right to left. Instead, Konechka will try to surge forward, and he'll get out towards the 25-yard line and no further. And a little bit of extracurricular, which ends reasonably quickly. And it'll be 3rd down and Baker's dozen from the 24-yard line.
There'll be a hold there that wasn't called on Logan Young. The Wolverines have done a good job of limiting Konechka. When they spread the field like that, there's a lot of room. Konechka's biggest run in this game so far has just been for 7 yards.
Clock winding under, 3 minutes to play in the 3rd quarter. Woodland Hills with a 14-point lead. Trips right, 2 receivers left, ball in the middle of the field. Konechka looking right, throwing right, has a receiver open underneath, and Ramon Dean has the 1st down out towards the 40-yard line. Tackle on the play made by Caleb Brevard.
Just a lot of options when they do this quad formation. They kind of zig and zag and go under and go over. That time it was a clear out almost by the 3 first receivers, and then Dean just came underneath and was wide open.
Trips to the wide side left, 2 receivers to the short side right, and the pass is tipped at the line of scrimmage and then intercepted by Jeremy Turner. And this time, the officials are going to give Jeremy Turner the football.
I'm scanning just to make sure.
Well, it wasn't a fumble. It was a tipped pass that was clearly intercepted by the linebacker.
It's our guy. It's Tyrell Barlow.
Yeah. So Tyrell Barlow has blocked 2 passes today, tipped 2 passes, and he also blocked a field goal.
The field goal, absolutely. He's continued his stellar play. He's been good all season long. He deflects it. Turner gets the INT, 2nd turnover of the game for the Woodland Hills defense.
2:34 to play in quarter number 3. Woodland Hills taking over at their own 48 after the INT by one of our State Senator Jay Costa players of the game a week ago. High backfield. Handoff. Hesitation by Meredith. Now he'll spring free. He's got the first down. Dragon white jerseys, shoving through other ones. He's brought down at the 35-yard line with a big gainer.
17 yards for Anthony Meredith, 5'11", 167-pound junior. His hesitation is just really a quick look to find the hole. When he found the hole, it was originally going to the right. He cut back to the one hole to the left. The rest was all individual effort, and 1-2 for Anthony Meredith for that 17-yard gain. Woodland Hills has gone along with a different look. We haven't seen this a lot in this game, just a few snaps at him with the true fullback in the I formation.
This time it's Christopher Jones. Last play it was Taylor. Handoff will go to Meredith. He'll just run a Tiger over as he drives his way inside of the 35 to the 33. The umpire throws a flag, and generally that is a hold against one of the offensive linemen.
Yeah, it was right in that pile where Meredith was coming to the near side. Mike Burrell will let us know what the penalty is, and they're going to march him back 10.
We got holding on Black, 10-yard penalty, repeat first down.
So that'll back Woodland Hills up 10 yards from the spot of the foul.
Yeah, so it was a 2-yard pickup and then 10 from there. Takes the ball back to the 42.
Bring up first down and actually about 17. So
give it a 3 yards for Meredith. There's Tim Bostard. He's a first-year head coach. Anthony Lynn is a first-year head coach in this conference. Dan Knaus and Lauren Coley. 4 of the coaches are in their first year.
Woodland Hills runs an end around to Nazir Taylor. He's got some room over to that far boundary. He'll lower his shoulder, keeping his feet. He'll be forced out of bounds just shy of the 30-yard line. And Naz Taylor picking up a good bit of yardage there. Picked up about 10, bringing up second down and 7.
I want to say it was Panucci. I'm going to confirm that on this replay, but he did a good job because Davion Rochelle was out there, and he just not to get a block in the back. Panucci kind of slowed Taylor up enough before Sterator was able to come over and drop him after the 10-yard pickup. 92 yards now on 3 carries in this contest for Nazir Taylor.
Jones hands off. Meredith, the tailback, lost the football. It falls right into the hands of Jake Dunning, and Jake Dunning is off to the races. He'll take it all the way to the house for a big Moon defensive touchdown. And while Woodland Hills had reclaimed the momentum and had a 2-score lead, all of a sudden the lead is down to 8 points right now.
You could not ask for a better situation if you're Jake Dunning. That ball was his own offensive lineman who backed into him, and Dunning picked it up in stride and in the air from the 31. 69 yards on the fumble return for Jake Dunning, the senior for the Moon Tigers, and that'll suck some of the momentum away from Woodland Hills and put it right back into the favor of the Moon Tigers.
It looked like Christian Tanner, one of the linebackers, came from the backside, put an arm on the football, which kind of jostled it loose, and then when Meredith ran into the backside of Christopher Jones, the ball went sky high and fell into the waiting arms of Jake Dunning, who took it all the way to the house for a touchdown. 1:26 to play here in the third quarter. Woodland Hills 21, Moon 14. You're tuned into the Wolverines and the Tigers on the Trib Live High School Sports Network and the Woodland Hills Football Network, presented by State Senator Jay Costa.
There are few things that guys like more than a great haircut at a real barbershop. And at the Barber's Inn on Washington Avenue in Swissvale, you'll find both. Plus, you can relax in style on supple leather sofas while watching their big screen HD TV. You can even shoot some pool while you wait. But most importantly, you'll walk out the door with a haircut or shave you're sure to love. Walk-ins are always welcome at the Barber's Inn in Swissvale. For more information, call 412-271-7434. And remember, real men come to the Barber's Inn.
You're tuned in to Wolverine Football, presented by State Senator Jay Costa on the Woodland Hills Football Network.
1:26 to play in quarter number 3, as Moon has cut the Woodland Hills lead down to 7 points on a big fumble return for a touchdown by Jake Dunning. Again, the ball was pulled free by Christian Tanner, and then as Anthony Meredith ran into the back of Christopher Jones, the ball went sky high, fell into the waiting arms of Jake Dunning, who took it the other way for the TD.
Christmas in October for Jake Dunning. Can't ask for a better job. He comes in the air and on the near side, no one was there.
And Woodland Hills will return this one from their own 4-yard line. It's Nazir Taylor. He's running to the right-hand side across the 30, across the 35, where he's met by a pair of white jerseys and brought down around the 37.
So 36-yard return for Nazir Taylor. And if I'm Woodland Hills, I'm going right back to the run game. It was great with 145 yards in the first half. It was great on the opening drive, in specific with Jaquan Smith. I'm going right back to it. That unfortunate fumble notwithstanding, right back to the ground game for Woodland Hills.
So again, 1:17 to play here in quarter number 3. Woodland Hills with the football at their own 37-yard line. Woodland Hills on top, 21-14. Both teams have scored a touchdown here in the third quarter. Woodland Hills with a methodical drive. Moon with the big defensive play. Twins left. Woodland Hills does go back to that ground game, Bobby O, and straight up the gut goes a Woodland Hills tailback and Anthony Meredith. And I think that's great for Meredith's confidence that he gets the first carry after coughing up the football that leads to a Moon touchdown.
I agree, and it's really just it's a weird kind of fumble. You made a good call with Tanner coming from behind to knock it loose, but it's not like he took the pitch and fumbled the pitch or was loose with the football. It was kind of an innocuous type of fumble, even though it led to 7 points.
Hand off Meredith again, running right. He's got the first down and more inside of Moon territory to the 49-yard line.
I think that also shows a great deal of confidence in this offensive line. Jeremy Thomas, Hilliard, Rawlings, the tight end, Alexander, throwing the fullbacks, Christopher Jones or Taylor. It's just a great deal of confidence. The Vega Bird, who has returned from injury, has done a great job in gelling this unit together.
Clock winding, under 30 seconds to play in the third quarter. Anthony Meredith, the ball carrier again. He'll take it down towards the 46-yard line as time continues to wind off here in the third quarter. Real quick, we'll send it down to the sideline. Rick, I understand you had some thoughts on that fumble by Meredith.
Yeah, I'm not sure why. If these refs are going to be consistent, I thought maybe he should have got forward progress on that. Maybe a first down out of that fumble.
There you go. Yeah, maybe the forward progress was stalled long enough before the fumble by Meredith. Good call, Rick. All right, 21-14. Here's the score. Woodland Hills on top of Moon as the third quarter expires. We'll head to the fourth frame with Woodland Hills on top by 7. You're tuned into the Wolverines and the Tigers on the Trib Live High School Sports Network and the Woodland Hills Football Network, presented by State Senator Jay Costa.
Today's broadcast of Woodland Hills football is brought to you by the Turtle Creek Valley Rotary Club. Since 1905, Rotary clubs across the globe have brought business and professional leaders together to provide humanitarian services, encourage high ethical standards in all vocations, and to advance goodwill and peace around the world. The Turtle Creek Valley Rotary Club meets every Friday at noon at Shelley Pie. Rotary, service above self.
You're tuned in to Wolverine Football, presented by State Senator Jay Costa on the Woodland Hills Football Network.
Second down and 7 for Woodland Hills. The ball at the Moon 46-yard line as we begin the fourth quarter. Twins right. Counter to the left. Meredith, the ball carrier, gets a block from Barlow. Lowers his shoulders, drives his way forward, down towards the 42-yard line for a pickup of 4. Tackle made by Brady Sunday, and that'll bring up third and a manageable 3.
So Anthony Meredith maybe trying to mimic what Jaquan Smith did in the first drive of the second half, getting every carry. This will be the 5th play. The previous 4 have all been runs by Meredith.
One receiver split to either side as the ball is in the middle of the field, and Jones will step under center with a one-back set behind him. Meredith, the ball carrier, running right. He's got the first down as he picks up 4, and he needed 3. Well, we saw the big drive by Jaquan Smith at the beginning of the third quarter, and now Anthony Meredith is powering the Wolverines. He did so in the early portion of the previous drive, coughed up the football, and now he continues to carry the rock from Woodland Hills.
I'm going to make Rick smile. Big block on that third down and 3 by DeVega Bird. I know Rick has been very impressed with DeVega's play since he's come back.
Counter to the left again. Running left is Meredith. He's got a crease. He's got the first down. He spins his way forward down to the 25-yard line where it's 1st and 10 for Woody High.
So So 6 consecutive runs. That one for 13 by Meredith. Really was a spin move and a keeping your balance move away from getting into the end zone after he broke through the initial contact. Nice job to come and undercut him by Malcolm Johnson, but not before Meredith gained 13 yards.
Twins to the right of the formation, ball on the left hash, double tights with a one-back set behind Daniel Jones. It's Meredith, the ball carrier, as he takes the handoff running left. I like how I predicted that one, Bobby O, as he brings the ball inside of the 20 to the 19-yard line.
You know, they're really making it easy on us, and for me specifically, keeping stats. Earlier drive, all on the 10 line. This drive, all 7 plays and counting have been on the 5 line. Meredith, of course, wearing number 5. Jaquan Smith wearing number 10. Smith has 2 touchdowns in this game, a 10-yard run and a 9-yard run, which capped off that 55-yard drive in the third quarter.
Twins to either side. Meredith, the ball carrier. He'll run to the left-hand side. He's got the first down and more. He's got the Vega Bird out in front of it as Meredith is forced out of bounds. Inside of the 1-yard line, it'll be first and goal.
They absolutely wanted to get into the end zone down that far side. Put a shoulder down at the end of the play against Sean Hitlop, but just couldn't quite get into the end zone.
That was just an old-fashioned counter to the left-hand side. Guard and tackle from the right, pulling to the left, and they led the way for Meredith. They picked up a big chunk of yardage there, and that'll bring up first down and goal.
I'm guessing 5 gets the ball.
Good call. Handoff. Meredith hesitate. Running right. Spun down. Back at the 3-yard line.
Unfortunately, Moon was guessing 5 was getting the football as well. Simon Eunice did a great job to come underneath and get Meredith before he could get to the line of scrimmage. He loses a yard back to the 2.
Second and goal, Woodland Hills from the 2-yard.
It's just amazing how things get magnified when you get down to the goal line. You're able to spread things out so much more and show so many more potential threats when the field is longer as opposed to down inside of the 5 like they are now on second and goal at the 2. Instead, it'll just be Meredith running to the left, and into the end zone he will go for that 2-yard touchdown run, and Woodland Hills back up on top by 2 scores, 27-14.
10 plays, 63 yards, all from Anthony Meredith. 64 if you take that 1 yard, but this time on touch for Anthony Meredith and for the junior. Meredith gets his 5th touchdown run of the season.
Good snap, good hold by Whitehurst, and field goal up and in, or rather the PAT up and in for Chucky Hanchett. And Woodland Hills right now doubling up the Moon Tigers, 28-14 with 9:08 to play in regulation. You're tuned into the Wolverines and the Tigers on the Trib Live High School Sports Network and the Woodland Hills Football Network, presented by State Senator Jay Costa.
State Senator Jay Costa is proud to represent Pennsylvania's 43rd District since 1996 and is happy to support the Woodland Hills football team. If you have an issue concerning state government, contact one of Senator Costa's 3 local offices. Senator Costa's offices offer a variety of services for constituents. You can reach Senator Costa's Forest Hills office at 412-241-6690 or log on to senatorcosta.com.
You're tuned in to Wolverine Football, presented by State Senator Jay Costa on the Woodland Hills Football Network.
28-14, Woodland Hills leading the Moon Tigers.
Big block by Tyrell Barlow, also filling the hole. The tight end, Eric Oliver, kind of the pulling tight end, as he came around from left to right. The rest was easy for Anthony Meredith.
So Chucky Hanchett on to kick it off. Woodland Hills on top of Moon, 28-14. Adam Dusky, Bob Orquist on the call for you. It's Hanchett, a low bouncing kick that'll be returned from the 15-yard line. Running to the near side left comes Zach Jadaki. And Jadaki still on his feet, finally forced down by Chucky Hanchett, but not before Jadaki gets out to the 48-yard line.
We saw Zach Jadlocki running out of the Wildcat. Good return out near midfield. How about these numbers? 21 carries, 106 yards and a touchdown for Anthony Meredith. 14 carries, 80 yards, and 2 touchdowns for Jaquan Smith. 3 carries, 92 yards, and a touchdown for Nazir Taylor. Outstanding job running the football by that trio.
Moon setting up
double pass.
Yeah, double pass. The lateral pass over to that far sideline to Panucci, and he threw the ball down the field, and the intended receiver was nowhere near the football. Ramon Dean, the intended man.
Yeah, not even close. We saw them try to do that earlier. They had a pass. That pass earlier went out of bounds. Dunning this time trying to throw it deep to Dean, and he just couldn't quite get there.
So again, Moon starting this drive at their own 48-yard line, early in the fourth quarter here. Quads right. One receiver on the near side left, and the ball in and out of the hands of the intended receiver. That's the second time we've had to talk about number 24, who's not on our roster for the Moon Tigers.
We can talk about number 1, Nazir Taylor. Nice job to get in there. That ball was up near the shoulder pads. He came in and just knocked it out of there.
So that'll bring up 3rd down and 10 after the incomplete pass. Cole Konechka bringing the play in from the sideline for the Moon Tigers. They'll send quads to the right. Now it'll be trips right and 2 receivers to the near side left. And a timeout is called by Moon head coach Ryan Lynn, as he didn't like what was going on formationally.
Timeout. White.
So that'll give us an opportunity to take a breather. You're tuned in to the Wolverines and the Moon Tigers on the Trib Live High School Sports Network and the Woodland Hills Football Network, presented by State Senator Jay Costa.
The Triangle Bar and Grill in Swissvale is a proud sponsor of the Wolverines and has been serving the Woodland Hills community for nearly 70 years. The Triangle, located on Monongahela Avenue, is the home of the Battleship, the sandwich that made Swissvale famous. Plus, the Triangle has a full menu of specialty sandwiches you're gonna love. Call the Triangle at 412-271-9885 to place your order now.
You're tuned in to Wolverine Football, presented by State Senator Jay Costa on the Woodland Hills Football Network.
Trips right, 2 receivers to the near side left. Ball thrown to the right-hand side. The intended receiver, Zach Jedlocki, and it's in and out of his hands, incomplete. That'll bring up 4th down. And decision time here for Ryan Lynn, and I think with a 2-score deficit, you may want to consider going for it, but they are going to bring the punt unit on. And this is a different punter than we've seen. It's Nick Sebastian to punt.
Sebastian was hurt. He was an all-conference punter, returning from last year, and a pretty good one. We've seen Morrow doing the kicking. We got gunners either way, so got to be careful.
Ball booted away. A beauty. Nazir Taylor retreating. And he is hauled down. Racing down there is Brendan Luffy to make the stop for the Moon Tigers deep inside of Woodland Hills territory. This by far will be the worst starting field position for Woodland Hills at their own 13.
Hit law on the coverage. My question is, where was Nick Sebastian kicking this entire game? That was a beauty. Bested only by the coffin corner punt earlier by Michael Whitehurst, but that was a high, deep kick and a great coverage by Luffy, the sophomore at 6'1", 245.
So the ball at the 13. Woodland Hills facing the long field for the first time today. One back set behind Jones. Receiver splits either side and a double tight end. Hand off. Anthony Meredith is the ball carrier, driving his way across the 15 out towards the 16-yard line.
Defense by Brady Sunday.
And that'll bring up a gain of about 3, and it's 2nd down and 7.
Meredith looking.
Ball spotted on the 16-yard line. Gain of 3 on the play. 2nd and 7, Woodland Hills.
Yeah, that was Seth Beadle on the carry.
Ball carrier, Anthony Meredith. He's running to the left. He's got the first down and more out across the 30 to the 31, maybe the 32-yard line. And a nice pickup there of 16 yards, and Woodland Hills has a first down.
And they get Meredith right back in there. His season high, by the way, Meredith, was last week against North Hills, 18 carries for 100 yards and a touchdown. He did have 95 yards running against Chartiers Valley, where he had the big 3-touchdown game. We haven't seen Smith back in there since he had that cramp in the third quarter.
And the handoff to Anthony Meredith. He's got nowhere to go as he's brought down 2 yards deep in the backfield.
Good job to close that hole by Simon Eunice. Eunice and Nick Kotok will stuff him up.
So 2nd down and 12 for Woodland Hills. The football at the 30-yard line. Twins right. Handoff. Meredith running right, cutting it back to the left-hand side. He'll surge forward out towards the 39-yard line. And he'll take it from 3rd and 12, or rather 2nd and 12 to 3rd and 3, so a pickup of 9.
Good job by Meredith. Great job by this offensive line. And Meredith just looked really very comfortable. Brady Sunday in on the stop along with Malcolm Johnson, but making it a 3rd and manageable from that 3rd and long, as you mentioned.
Two receivers left. Tight end to the left. Handoff. Meredith to the left. He's got the first down. Still dragging white jerseys out across the 45 to the 48-yard line.
9 more for Meredith. Dragging, pushing, running. That's just a great job by Meredith. Another first down. This drive, mind you, after that nice punt by Sebastian, started at the 13.
Jamal Littlejohn. 1st and 10, Woodland Hills. Those are the football on their own 48-yard line.
Woodland Hills breaking the huddle. Double tights, receivers split to either side.
Well, that's Clark in there now.
And the handoff. William Clark spinning and being brought down 2 yards deep in the backfield. The clock, the Wolverines' friend, as long as they're able to continue to pick up first downs at this point. The 2-touchdown advantage.
With the long field, when you're able to move the ball, that's a good point. Great job to come up and blow the timing up by Eunice. And after Clark spun out of the Eunice tackle, it was Jamal Littlejohn who wrapped him up, the sophomore Littlejohn at 5'7", 170.
Handoff. Jaquan Smith, the ball carrier, and he's got nowhere to go. That'll bring up 3rd down and a dozen. Ball at the 46. The line to gain is the 42-yard line of the Moon Tigers.
Brady Sunday in there, Tanner as well. Brady Sunday hasn't done much offensively, but defensively he's made a ton of tackles tonight for Moon.
Clock winding down towards 4.5 minutes to play in regulation. Daniel Jones will step under center. They'll run the counter to the right-hand side. Anthony Meredith springs free. Doesn't get enough for the first down, though. He will pick up about 8, though, bringing up 4th down and 4. Tim Boster's going to send the punt unit out there.
4th and 4, Woodland Hills.
Now we've seen that Michael Whitehurst last week can run with the football from his punter's position. And we saw he was greenlit to run or punt earlier this half.
I'd take that Coughlin corner deal. If it were me, you just pin him out of bounds anywhere inside the 20 with a 2-touchdown lead.
And Whitehurst will give this one a nice boot that will take a hop inside of the 20 down to the 18-yard line. So Moon's got the long field to deal with. And we'll set it down to the sideline. Rick McIntyre, Woodland Hills has got to be happy not only with their running game, but with the way that offensive line is performing today.
Absolutely. Actually, no matter what you were coming down to me with, I was going to mention that offensive line. They didn't get into the end zone there, but they got right about 5 minutes eating off the clock. Really did a nice job there, hunkering down, really getting off the ball, controlling the line of scrimmage. Again, didn't get the touchdown, but ate the time off the clock. And as of right now, I give the offensive line the player of the game for tonight.
I was kind of leaning that way myself. Trips to the right, 2 receivers to the near side left. The pass is completed to Jake Dunning, who is wrestled to the boundary after picking up a handful of yards.
Who am I to dissent with you guys? The offensive line has been outstanding. 146, by the way, on the ground tonight for Anthony Meredith. Pretty sure that would be a career high to go with his touchdown run.
Trips right, 2 receivers to the near side left. Konieczka pressured as he rolls to the right-hand side. He's going to step forward as a flag comes down. The pass in and out of the hands of the intended receiver. Zach Jidlocki started to run before he had the football secured. And with the flag down on the turf, Woodland Hills is going to be able to back up the Moon Tigers. And the offensive lineman started to pick up that flag, and that flag denotes the spot of the foul. And now they're going to move the flag. And we'll check in with our referee, Mike Burrow, to see the call. All right. Going to have an extended discussion here. So our officials want to talk things over. Again, 3:24 to play in regulation. Woodland Hills doubling up the Moon Tigers.
We got holding on White, 10-yard penalty from the spot, still second down.
The spot of the foul was at the 21-yard line. Quite frankly, from our vantage point, it looked like it was about the 18-yard line where Joshua Rawlings was being held.
Barlow was being held as well, so pick either one of those. Back near the 20, inside the 20.
So the ball is backed up to the 11-yard line, and we see twins to either side and a sidecar to the left-hand side of Konieczka. Low snap. Konieczka looking right. Pressured, setting up the screen, and jumping and grabbing a hold of the football is the back out of the backfield. He's off to the races and finally brought down from behind. And that's about as well executed a screen as you can see as Christopher Jones makes the tackle as Sean Brennan with the catch, picking up the first down for the Moon Tigers.
168 now unofficially in the air for Konieczka. Really nice middle screen. You get that pressure coming at Konieczka near the goal line, so you got to be a little calm under that, and he gets Brennan.
Konieczka pressured, steps forward into the pocket. Jump ball time, and it is bobbled and dropped to the turf. Leaping up there was Michael Coleman. Also back there was Michael Whitehurst for the Woodland Hills defense. The incomplete pass intended for Malcolm Johnson.
Adam, I think they defended each other, both going for that jump ball situation. And Coleman got his hand on it, and then Whitehurst kind of punched it away from him.
Second and 10, Tigers. Losing the football on the 30-yard line. Moon area.
So second and 10 for Moon. The ball at the 30-yard line. Clock stopped with just under 3 minutes to play. Woodland Hills up by 14. Trips right, 2 receivers to the left. Ball in the middle of the field. Low snap. Konieczka looking to the near side left. The pass intended for number 24, Garrett Blake. Yeah, we got that name a little while ago, Garrett Blake. Not able to grab a hold of that pass, and the incompletion brings up third down and 10.
We talked about Konieczka having 168 yards. Unofficially, 325 yards on the ground for Woodland Hills tonight. 146 for Meredith to lead the way, 92 for Nas Taylor on just 3 carries and 80 yards and a pair of touchdowns for Jaquan Smith. That is outstanding production.
Straight drop back, and the pass is tipped and intercepted. Second takeaway today by Jeremy Turner. He has the INT. He'll return it inside of the 30 to the 29-yard line. And a nose for the football by the middle linebacker, Jeremy Turner.
So maybe the issue is just with Turner on fumbles, because that's twice he's got interceptions. The first one was tipped by Barlow, picked off by Turner this time. Jeremy at 6 foot and 188, the linebacker, tipped it, deflected it, secured it, and Woodland Hills, 29 of 31
We
in the
have timeout.
playoffs.
Black, that's our second one and a half.
So with the timeout, we'll take a breather. It's 28-14, Woodland Hills on top of Moon. You're tuned into the Wolverines and the Tigers on the Trib Live High School Sports Network and the Woodland Hills Football Network, presented by State Senator Jay Costa.
A-Boss Opticians on Braddock Avenue in Braddock is your one-stop optical shop. With hundreds of the latest frame styles and lenses, the skilled opticians at A-Boss will help select and fit the best eyewear option for you. Plus, A-Boss Opticians is the best eyewear repair facility in the area. No matter what your eyewear needs are, make A-Boss Opticians your opticians. Call A-Boss Opticians at 412-271-4424 or visit abossopticians.com.
You're tuned in to Wolverine Football, presented by State Senator Jay Costa on the Woodland Hills Football Network.
Ball carrier this time, Seth Beadle, the senior reserve tailback, carrying that ball from the 30 down to the 26-yard line. Now, Bobby O, Rick and I were discussing things a bit earlier about our players of the game nominees, and while I agree that the offensive line is definitely a huge candidate, one of the guys, number 76, the left guard, while there is a 76 out there in Jeremy Thomas, he certainly doesn't fit the bill as to his measurables. So maybe a different guy. Beadle, the ball carrier, running left inside of the 20. He's brought down after picking up a first down inside the red zone to the 17. So we'd hate to credit a young man who is not part of that offensive line right now, but I'll tell you, these guys are absolutely paving the way for a handful of backs who have picked up a ton of yardage today.
And I think this number right here, this weight,
yes,
for Thomas at 172 might be wrong, because I thought that they list Hilliard as 163, and he's certainly not 163.
Okay. Well,
so that could just be a misprint there.
Okay, well, we'll go with that then. Maybe he's 272 instead of 172.
Whatever his weight, he's been good.
That's for sure.
We have timeout. White, that's our second one and a half.
So Moon takes the timeout.
Beadle picked up about 2 yards.
That'll give us an opportunity to send it back down to the sidelines. Rick McIntyre, you know, really, you said you were an outside tackle, and obviously I played center and guard. So I love to see this type of running game where guys are just absolutely paving the way for back after back after back.
Yeah, I think we both agree on that. It's my favorite type of football to watch, and it's a lot easier to get in that position whenever you've got the nice lead and you got the clock on your side. You can just kind of keep it between the tackles. And when we match up man for man, I mean, I'm looking at this offensive line from up close, and there's some big boys in black walking out to that line, and there's some kids out there in white that don't want any more of it right now.
And what else I think is a huge credit to Chris Edmonds and Denny D'Amico, who have combined this year for the athletic training and the conditioning for these guys, is so many of these linemen are going both ways, and they are still pretty fresh in this later stage of the game. Handoff will go to the second back through. That's Seth Beadle, who will drive his way forward for Woodland Hills first down inside of the 10 down towards the 6-yard line. And it's first and goal for Woody High.
Defense by number 42, Christian.
Clock winding to 87 seconds.
From the 6-yard line.
Handoff, straight up the middle. Driving his way forward, Seth Beadle again.
Beadle again pounding his way forward. Is inside the 5-yard line.
2 more yards, injured Moon player down underneath that pile.
Tiger shaking up on the play.
I think it's Eunice.
Let's take a look at something has gone astray with his right leg.
Something went astray with our replay there. I thought we picked up an out-of-town broadcast. Eunice is being stretched out. Looks like a cramp situation. Consider this. 352 yards on the ground for the Wolverines tonight, Adam. And their leading rusher, Rodney Denard, didn't play with that gimpy ankle.
Well, that says a lot to not just the running back by committee that we've seen from Woodland Hills this season, but just how great this offensive line has played today for Woodland Hills.
Absolutely. All the credit to them. You can catch replays of the game on our YouTube channel. Also follow us at facebook.com/Woodland Hills Football Network. Yeah, if you like the running game, you like the linemen, this is a game you definitely want to check out the replay on.
Also follow us on Twitter, twitter.com/WHFootballNet. And our crew upstairs taking a look through the Facebook comments, and Michael Martin tuning in from down in Florida. Father of former Wolverine Brady Martin says that he's very shocked that a couple of old O-linemen are picking the O-line as the players of the game.
His tongue was planted in his cheek.
Firmly. Straight up the left-hand side and into the end zone goes Seth Beadle for a 3-yard Woody High TD.
That is most definitely the icing on the cake, the cherry on the sundae, if you will, Seth Beadle's 4-yard touchdown run. A perfect capper to a pretty perfect performance by this offensive line. There you see Rodney Denard pumped up for his teammates, and Seth Beadle, the senior on senior night, getting his first touchdown of the year.
Chucky Hanson on to attempt the PAT. Michael Whitehurst saw that there was a Moon Tiger coming at him, and he took off running to the left-hand side, and he was hemmed in over there before he could turn the corner towards the end zone. And the 2-point conversion attempt, I suppose, fails. I guess that's the way it'll be in the papers tomorrow. 51 seconds to play here in the fourth quarter. Woodland Hills on top of the Moon Tigers by 20 points, 34-14. Now, we've talked about it already, Bobby O. Woodland Hills takes on the aforementioned West Allegheny Indians next Friday night in Imperial, Pennsylvania. Now, Woodland Hills last year played West A twice. They played them in the regular season and played them in the WPIAL semifinals. And West A ran away with the game both times. Now, you go back 2 years, Woodland Hills defeated West A here at the Wolverina. You go back 3 seasons, and there was an absolutely magnificent football game that went into overtime between then the AAA West A Indians and the Quad A Woodland Hills Wolverines. West A ended up winning by an extra point that they made, and Woodland Hills didn't. So, ultimately, it's going to be a great football game between two great football teams in 5A, and Woodland Hills looks for what you would have to assume would be an upset in that game. However, Woodland Hills, with the win today, has their opportunity to clinch a conference title in their hands with a couple of victories.
Indeed, clinching a playoff spot. Keep in mind for West Allegheny, Will Weber, their top running back, Wildcat quarterback, do it all out of the backfield, and Dante Flatty are both out of the lineup for the Wolverine or for the Indians. So you would think if Woodland Hills gets Denard back and plays at full strength. But keep in mind, Bob Palco coaches West Allegheny, so he's seen a thing or two and has done a thing or two. I believe he's won a championship or two, or 8.
Or 8, yeah. Chucky Hanson's kick down to the 3-yard line where it'll be returned by Logan Young, and Logan Young is scooped up and planted to the artificial surface right along the numbers at the 25-yard line.
I want to say it was Teron Best, and if it is, let me just make sure on this replay, because whoever the man is who made the tackle is getting 2 points for the takedown.
Wow.
We have a timeout. Block.
That was Jaden Lucas.
Yeah, Jaden Lucas made the tackle as Woodland Hills takes that timeout.
That's your third and final timeout of the half.
And as you can hear from our referee, Mike Burrow, Woodland Hills is out of timeouts. And I think a lot of that has to do with the fact that Woodland Hills wants to make sure they have the proper personnel with the second team out there.
We had a 28-14 lead. We have had 4 timeouts.
Right.
In a 14-point game. You don't see that. I think this timeout is because you're putting some reserves in, but we saw a few of them. 356 yards on the ground, my unofficial tally for Woodland Hills.
Incredible.
That's just great production. I mean, think about this. We've had splendid weather every Friday so far. That's not always the case. Sometimes you get inclement weather. You need the running game. This has to give that unit, this offensive unit, that offensive line and the running backs, if not already confidence, even that much more confidence heading into the final 2 weeks of the regular season.
Trips left, two receivers to the right-hand side. Straight drop back, Konechka throwing it down the field, and the pass is incomplete, intended for Malcolm Johnson. But a Woodland Hills D-back, and Tavian Brooks was the closest one to the football. And Bobby Oat, you mentioned the weather, and I kind of put my hand over my lips as, in that shushing motion. And the reason I say that is because you're going to West Allegheny next week, and unless they installed the new press box, which was in the plans, but I'm not sure if they put it in or not, you may be sitting out on a platform next Friday night atop the visitors' bleachers at West Allegheny Stadium in Imperial.
Let's peek ahead. I'm sure this can change. Sunny and 72 next Friday. Let's hope that continues.
Yeah, I would hope so, at least for your sake and Rick's sake and our crew's sake. As I said, they would be outside.
I'm not sure if they've gotten the renovations done there either. I haven't really heard of that. I knew they were planning it.
Parenthetically, the most recent play, Cole Konechka was pressured and wrapped up and threw an incomplete pass down towards the turf. And this time the handoff will go to the tailback, Sean Brennan, and Sean Brennan will drive his way out towards the 30-yard line as the clock winds to 27 seconds to play. And there's a Moon Tigers player over there on those numbers who was shaken up, and that is Skylar Russo, I believe. I hate to be filled with conjecture, but we can't see the number. It looks like it may be number 54, Nicholas Kotick. At least that's what the folks upstairs are saying. And as he rolls a bit, we can confirm that.
I think he got rolled on. We're talking about you and Rick being ex-offensive linemen. That's one of the worst things that happened in the interior, getting rolled up on.
Well, they're taking a look at him. Again, Woodland Hills next week at West Allegheny, in 2 weeks at Upper St. Clair. So 2 straight road games to finish up the regular season before we head to the WPIAL playoffs. As Kotick is helped to his feet and will be helped to the sideline by one of the assistant coaches.
Good news there is you see putting some pressure on that right leg, the Army recruit.
And I'll tell you what, Bobby, you got to be a special kind of young man to not only play football for West Point, but you got to be some kind of student as well.
Sure, absolutely.
It takes a special kind of student athlete to graduate from high school and then go on to one of the military academies. An appointment to one of those is very, very prestigious.
High character, high moral fiber, good education, good athleticism. That's a total package to head onto one of those academies. The Kodak will do that.
The officials wind the clock here with less than 15 seconds to play. I think Moon will let this football game expire, and with the win, Woodland Hills now 5-3 on the year, but more importantly, 5-1 within Allegheny 9 conference play. With a loss, Moon falls to 3-5 on the year and 2-4 within the Allegheny 9 conference. Bobby O, a great football game here for Woodland Hills in their second straight home win after getting 2 big road victories in the Allegheny 9 conference.
No question. It's what they needed. Tim Bostert getting the win. Rick talked about how he looked laser focused. He's intimidating on offensive lineman, isn't he?
He sure is. Played left tackle on the 1996 championship team.
He'll be pretty excited to watch this film tomorrow, especially in the second half. This just a great job tonight for the offensive line and the running attack for the Woodland Hills Wolverines, and another playoff berth and 4 straight wins, a 4-game winning streak now for the Wolverines. So just a good job of just keeping it on the ground. I would expect more of that. It's not broke yet. don't fix it. That's how that cliche goes. And really good stuff tonight from that unit. Really good stuff from the defense, too. 14 points. One of those was that fumble that bounced out of the hands of Meredith up in the air that Dunning took the other way. So the defense doing a good job, allowing some yardage through the air, Adam, to Cole Konechka. But other than that, playing very well in its own right.
Well, we're going to step away as we move into the post-game show. We're going to take a 90-second break, and when we return, take a run through the scoring recap, and we'll give you our players of the game and the play of the game. All of that as we roll on right here on the Trib Live High School Sports Network and the Woodland Hills Football Network, presented by State Senator Jay Costa.
State Senator Jay Costa is proud to represent Pennsylvania's 43rd District since 1996 and is happy to support the Woodland Hills football team. If you have an issue concerning state government, contact one of Senator Costa's 3 local offices. Senator Costa's offices offer a variety of services for constituents. You can reach Senator Costa's Forest Hills office at 412-241-6690 or log on to senatorcosta.com. The Triangle Bar and Grill in Swissvale is a proud sponsor of the Wolverines and has been serving the Woodland Hills community for nearly 70 years. The Triangle, located on Monongahela Avenue, is the home of the Battleship, the sandwich that made Swissvale famous. Plus, the Triangle has a full menu of specialty sandwiches you're gonna love. Call the Triangle at 412-271-9885 to place your order now.
Life has its ups and downs. There are times when you or a loved one needs help. That's why you should know the name LGAR, Health and Rehabilitation Center. Located just minutes from the Monroeville Mall, the LGAR Health and Rehabilitation Center has been known by locals for many years, and they excel in reputation, rehabilitation, recuperation, and residential living. The help and answers you need are just a phone call away at 412-825-9000. Also on the web at lgar.org. LGAR Health and Rehabilitation Center, a name you should know and a name you can trust.
You're tuned in to Wolverine Football, presented by State Senator Jay Costa on the Woodland Hills Football Network.
Once it gets to the paper, I'm fine. I usually go and watch the replay, make sure.
Adam Gusky, Bob Orquist, and we're now joined by Rick McIntyre in the booth as Woodland Hills defeats the Moon Tigers by 20 points, 34-14. A big win for Woody High. And as we take a look at the scoring recap, Woodland Hills scored first on a 10-yard touchdown run in the middle portion of the first quarter by number 10, Jaquan Smith. Then Woodland Hills got the ball back off of a Moon punt and turned it into a 60-yard touchdown run by Nazir Taylor. Woodland Hills up 14-0 at that point, but the Tigers took advantage of an interception by Malcolm Johnson, and they capped off a very long drive with 2 touchdown passes from Cole Konechka and Anthony Panucci, the second of which was the 16-yard TD to make it 14-7 at the mid-game break. Woodland Hills came out of the locker room, and they just drove the ball down the throats of the Moon Tigers. A 55-yard drive capped off by a 7-yard touchdown run by Eric Oliver. A couple of punts, an interception by Woodland Hills. However, Woodland Hills fumbles the ball back to Moon, and they return it some 60-plus yards for a TD, and all of a sudden it's 21-14. Now, Woodland Hills got the ball in the early stages of the third quarter, and they drove the ball again down the throats of the Moon Tigers. This time a 63-yard drive capped off by a 2-yard touchdown run by Anthony Meredith, and that put Woodland Hills up 28-14. A pair of punts, another interception by Jeremy Turner, and Woodland Hills drove the ball down the field again on the ground, and this time the drive capped off by Seth Beadle's 3-yard touchdown run. Again, up here in the booth, Adam Gusky and Bob Orquist. Rick McIntyre joining us now, and Bobby O and Rick, let's talk about what a performance it was today by Woodland Hills. The defense bent at times but never really broke, and you add to that the fact that that offensive line was just opening gaping holes time after time.
Just a great performance right there, and it didn't matter who was running it tonight. We saw Taylor in the Wildcat, which was a nice nuance. He gets 92 yards. Jaquan Smith gets 80, but he scores 2 touchdowns, Rick, and then 146, 26 carries and a touchdown for Meredith, with Rodney Denard not in there. those three guys did a great job, and you can't say enough about how the offensive line, and you want to throw in there the tight ends as well. Eric Oliver, one of the tight ends, Josh Rawlings as well, fullbacks Christopher Jones and Taylor. Just a great performance up front.
Yeah, it's something me and you like to talk about every once in a while when we're up here together is the +1, -1 when they're grading the film on the offensive line. Anytime that you can get over 300 yards total rushing for a whole game, you're going to see a whole lot of +1s on that board.
I'm seeing a lot more than +1s if they're going to grade it out that way. So it's just a great job on the ground. The question I have is, am I the rose between two thorns or the thorn between two roses?
I don't think there's a rose among us.
I like that answer the best. That was definitely the best possible answer. Out of your two options, Rick's answer was definitely the best one. Well, folks, we are going to take a 2-minute timeout, and when we return, we'll take a run through our post-game superlatives. We will name what our Patrick T. Lanigan Funeral Home play of the game was. We've already talked about our State Senator Jay Costa players of the game. However, we will go into that a little bit more in detail as we roll on the post-game show right here on the Woodland Hills Football Network and the Trib Live High School Sports Network, presented by State Senator Jay Costa.
Patrick T. Lanigan Funeral Home, with locations in East Pittsburgh and Turtle Creek, is a member of the Hall of Excellence of the National Funeral Directors Association. This reflects the same pursuit of excellence by our Woodland Hills football team, cheerleaders, marching band, students, staff, and faculty. For over 110 years, Patrick T. Lanigan Funeral Home has been honored to serve local families and to be a proud partner of the Woodland Hills communities. Bush Brothers Car Care Center in Swissvale has been a Monongahela Avenue institution for nearly 30 years. Bush Brothers is a full-service mechanic and tire shop for all types of vehicles. Whether you need mechanical work, alignment, state inspection, emissions testing, new tires, or just an oil change, Bush Brothers is the place for you. Bush Brothers Car Care Center, Monongahela Avenue in Swissvale, or give Martin and Jason a call at 412-351-5342. There are few things that guys like more than a great haircut at a real barbershop. And at the Barber's Inn on Washington Avenue in Swissvale, you'll find both. Plus, you can relax in style on supple leather sofas while watching their big screen HD TV. You can even shoot some pool while you wait. But most importantly, you'll walk out the door with a haircut or shave you're sure to love. Walk-ins are always welcome at the Barber's Inn in Swissvale. For more information, call 412-271-7434. And remember, real men come to the Barber's Inn. Today's broadcast of Woodland Hills football is brought to you by the Turtle Creek Valley Rotary Club. Since 1905, Rotary clubs across the globe have brought business and professional leaders together to provide humanitarian services, encourage high ethical standards in all vocations, and to advance goodwill and peace around the world. The Turtle Creek Valley Rotary Club meets every Friday at noon at Shelley Pie. Rotary, service above self.
You're tuned in to Wolverine Football, presented by State Senator Jay Costa on the Woodland Hills Football Network.
Back one last time here in Turtle Creek as Woodland Hills defeats the Moon Tigers 34-14. Adam Gusky, Bob Orquist, Rick McIntyre on the call for you today. Rick coming up from the sidelines to join us here in the booth for the post-game show. And it's time to talk about our post-game superlatives, and we'll start off with the Patrick T. Lanigan Funeral Home play of the game, and it was the 60-yard touchdown run by Nazir Taylor. It kind of took Bobby and I kind of by surprise when we saw Nazir Taylor come out there at the quarterback spot in the Wildcat, but he just showed those wheels, showed some great balance. And Rick, I thought what you pointed out was very valid, how quickly he was able to burst free after losing his balance initially and then regathering himself.
Yeah, as that play developed, I was on the Woodland Hills sideline, and he was kind of running almost east-west right down that 35-yard line. And, I thought he was down. I think he maybe even got that left hand down. And he went from there to full speed, at the 40-yard sprint speed, and I think in 2 strides, and he was already at the 20. It was one of the more athletic moves I've ever seen on this field.
And Bobby, I really thought that he was just absolutely marvelous the 2 times he carried the ball out of the backfield today, and I thought that one was just something spectacular.
Well, you put him in the Wildcat, and that's just another way to get the ball in his hands. And that run was definitely spectacular. It was capped off. The previous play from scrimmage for the Wolverines was the Jaquan Smith touchdown. So you had back-to-back touchdowns and a 14-0 lead, and you can get him the ball any way you can do it. Does it on special teams, does it as a wide receiver. Now there's a look out of the Wildcat for teams to think about as well. So I really like it. It's rare because we're not always in agreement. We both, all 3 of us agreed on not only the play of the game, but the players of the game too. All 3 of us were unanimous that his 60-yard run was the Patrick T. Lanigan Funeral Home play of the game.
Yeah, that was clear that the Patrick T. Lanigan Funeral Home play of the game was that 60-yard touchdown run by Nazir Taylor. But we also were unanimous on who the players of the game would be. And when you put together a 300-plus yard rushing performance, the big guys up front are certainly a big reason for that. And we'll start off with the center, Andrew Alexander, the 2 guards, Tyrell Barlow and Jeremy Thomas, and the tackles, Andre Hilliard and DeVega Bird. And those boys just cleared the way for 300-plus yards rushing by a handful of backs.
Yeah, if you've been following along the last couple games that I've been up at the booth, I've been just preaching the word of DeVega Bird. And I got to talk to him a little bit on the sideline. Really, really nice young man, really well-spoken, just very not what you would think on the sidelines. He's very kind of calm, quiet, kind of very reserved. But you put him on the field and tell him to pull, and he's going for blood. And it's really fun to watch that kid out there running.
I've been saying that I think his return from that meniscus injury has gelled that line together. They've just gotten better and better and better as he has come back, and it's allowed them more flexibility. You throw the tight ends, Rawlings and Oliver in there, and the fullbacks as well. It's running the football. It's Woodland Hills football. There is an identity. This is it.
Well, Bobby O and Rick, you guys will be on the call next week as Woodland Hills travels to Imperial to take on West Allegheny. Then I'll return to the play-by-play mic. Rick will be on the field for the first time in an away game as we travel to Upper St. Clair for the final game of the regular season. And these are 2 huge games to wrap up the regular season. Woodland Hills has a conference championship within their grasp. Right now, they've already clinched a playoff spot. 2 wins, and they're the conference champs.
It's all you really can ask for.
Yeah, and just before we clear out, I just wanted to say, I think this was a nice fitting end to the inaugural season here at George A. Novak Field at the Wolverina. I think the game kind of matched the season itself. A little sketchy at times, maybe get a little out of hand almost, and then team kind of gels together and gets the job accomplished. So.
Well put.
Laser focused by Tim Bossard. You said he came out at halftime, fired up. You could see in the second half, especially that initial drive.
Yeah, I've known Timmy basically his whole life. I've never been a little bit afraid of Timmy ever, but I took a step back.
Well, I think this was a fitting end, like Rick said, to the regular season here at George A. Novak Field. Hopefully we'll have a playoff game here in early November, but if not, we will certainly see a playoff game for the Woodland Hills Wolverines for the 29th time in program history. Well, that's going to do it for us. We'd like to thank our television crew, the good folks at Trib Live High School Sports Network. Down on the field was Rick McIntyre, my broadcast partner Bob Orquist, and I'm Adam Gusky. One more time, your final score: Woodland Hills defeats the Moon Tigers 34-14. We'll talk to you again next week as Woodland Hills takes on West Allegheny. You've been tuned in to the Wolverines, the Tigers on the Trib Live High School Sports Network and the Woodland Hills Football Network, presented by State Senator Jay Costa.
Today's broadcast of Wolverine football was presented by State Senator Jay Costa on the Woodland Hills Football Network. Wolverine football is also brought to you by the Triangle Bar and Grill, LGAR Health and Rehabilitation Center, Patrick T. Lanigan Funeral Home, Bush Brothers Car Care, the Barbers Inn in Swissvale, A-Boss Opticians, the Turtle Creek Valley Rotary Club, Web Landings, and LG3 Entertainment. This broadcast has been a presentation of A.W. Gusky Productions and LG3 Entertainment. Copyright 2017.